Naruto God Level System, Chapter 861 to 880. 861st. Phantom Thief Kid. What Phantom Thief 1412? Xiaolan looked at Sonoko with puzzled eyes. Yes, that's the old thief that young girls like now. Sonoko clenched his fists, clapped his hands and said. Chen turned his head and glanced at the little Izumi Yuhiko. The Phantom Thief 1412 is the Phantom Thief Kid ______, and he is also a former classmate of the little Izumi Yuhiko. Hey Kuido. When the little Izumi Yuhiko saw Chen looking at him, he couldn't help but froze for a moment, then lowered his head. Sheng asked in a voice that two people heard, "Do you know the identity of Kaido Kid?" Chen did not answer, but the little Izumi Yuhiko also understood. He must know Kaido Kid's identity. Chen did not answer, but the little Izumi Yuhiko also understood. He must know the identity of the monster, Thief Kid. But how did Chen know? Even she discovered it through divination, but thinking that Chen has unknown powers, the little Izumi Yuhiko suddenly "I don't think it's strange. What are you two mumbling about? It's not easy to see you Chen. Are you really going to school?" Chen pushed the head that Yuanzi pulled over and said. "This thief aimed at our family's heirloom and wanted to steal our family's heirloom. He also sent a special notice. It's too arrogant." Sonoko's face is quite angry. A mere thief. He dares to openly provoke their Suzuki Consortium. It's really easy to bully the Suzuki Consortium. Xiaolan, I want to invite your father. Help catch this thief. My father asked for help. Sonoko said to Xiaolan. I just checked. This thief seems to be famous. I wonder if my dad can catch it. Don't worry, as long as Uncle Maori makes a move, the money will definitely not be missing from him. Sonoko patted his chest and said. The Suzuki Consortium has nothing. They just have money. Now they have placed a bounty on the Phantom Thief Kid. As long as he catches the Phantom Thief Kid, they will immediately send 10 million and 8 yuan, and 20 million yen. Actually, it's not much, but in the eyes of the Suzuki Consortium, 2 thieves are worth the price at most. It's not about the money, but I don't know if Dad will accept it. Xiaolan shook her head gently. Sonoko nodded affirmatively. Right now, there are well-known gems from all over the world gathered at the Cornflower Museum, and my father will also take our family heirloom Dark Star to the exhibition. If such an exhibition is held, wouldn't there be a lot of people defending it, like that? I don't seem to need my dad's help either. Xiaolan said involuntarily. Although he knew that Kid the Phantom Thief was very powerful, but he was able to get through this layer of defense. It should be impossible to steal the family heirloom of the Sonoko family. Although my father doesn't believe that he can steal it, but I have to take precautions. In case it is really stolen. Our Suzuki Consortium will also be very embarrassing. Right. Yuanzi turned his head and asked Chen. I must be able to commit so many cases, but I'm not interested. Yuchen is not interested in the Phantom Thief Kid. What is he interested in 2 men? Even if interested, it is for women. By the way, this is the announcement letter from Kaido Kid. Sonoko almost forgot about such an important matter. Aprilfool, when Yuliang separated the two, under the name of Dark Star, he was invited to the waves. Come on, I'll get there. Why is it damaged so badly? Sonoko smiled awkwardly. Then he said, because my dad got very angry after receiving this letter, and he tore it up. It's broken, I just put it together. Then what exactly does this mean? Xiaolan scratched her hair. She thought she studied well, but she didn't know what it meant. Aprilfool, isn't this April Fool's Day? An April Fool's Day joke. It's just a joke. Chen glanced at the announcement letter. By the way, I forgot the English in front of me. Isn't this April Fool's Day? It seems that I was tricked. That hateful thief is actually a trickster, and he dares to play with the people of the Suzuki Consortium. He doesn't want to die. Although this is just a joke, but the Kaido Kid will definitely appear. It's just that he won't be against the dark stars do it, Chen said lightly. He will show up for sure. Well, if he does show up, then grab him and let everyone see his true face. Sonoko clenched his fist. Phantom Thief number 1412 is very famous in the whole world, and has stolen an unknown amount of treasures. Kai Shanwa _____, but the things that Kaido Kid stole will be returned in the end, and it is precisely because of this that Kaido Kid still has a large number of fans in the whole world. Kid the Phantom Thief became famous 20 years ago, shouldn't he be an old man now? Xiao Lan whispered. Xiao Lan, Kaido Kid is just a title, even if the previous generation Kaido Kid dies, there may be a next generation Kaido Kid to inherit. Chen said to Xiaolin. Also, maybe the current Phantom Thief Kid is the son or apprentice of the Phantom Thief Kid from before. Xiaolin nodded in agreement. That day happened to be the weekend. I invite you to go to the museum. Sonoko looked at Chen expectantly. What do you think of me? Xiaolan will definitely go, but I don't know if you will go. I hope you can go too. If nothing happens. Of course it's fine. Hey, you, why don't you ask me? Little Izumi Yuhiko's expression was rather unhappy. Are you going too? Sonoko looked reluctant. Forget it. I can go without your invitation. Little Izumi Yuhiko shook his head. It's not a very simple thing for her to go, just kidding with you. Of course I will invite you then. Sonoko smiled. Now the relationship between Sonoko and Izumi Yuhiko is not bad. Although they are not good friends, they can be called friends. Chen, why did you lie down and sleep? Xiaolin pushed Chen, and the teacher was coming soon. It's not good for the teacher to see it. It doesn't sound good either. Chen raised his head, looked at Xiaolin and said with a smile, why didn't Xiaolin sleep with me too? Lan Wenyan shook her head gently. She is different from Chen, she is serious. Of good students. All grades. First place. Xiaolan, don't you think? Are these books boring? Chen began to talk to Xiaolan in a low voice. Number 1, I think it's very interesting. I can learn a lot of knowledge on it. I think it's very boring. It's better to chat. Yuanzi glanced at Jintai and found that the teacher hadn't come over today. She immediately leaned over to Chen's side and whispered. Yuanzi is also a person who doesn't like to study. If it wasn't for her parents forcing her to come to school, she would not be willing to come. Work ___. 862 chapter. Nakamori Silver 3. Rice Flower Museum. Tatsuzai Sonoko's invitation came here. At this time, the Rice Flower Museum was heavily guarded. There are police all over the place. This jewelry exhibition is too heavily guarded. There are precious things inside. Of course, to protect. If anything goes wrong, it's the police's fault. Chen took Xiao Ai's hand and said. Because it was a holiday, Xiao Ai was also brought by Chen. In addition to Xiao Ai, Yuchizi also followed. Chen, this way. Not far away, Yuanzi was excitedly waving to Chen, and Xiaolin also stood with Yuanzi. Looking at her like this, she doesn't look like the wife of a big consortium at all. Uptak. Xiao Izumi Yuhiko looked at Yuanzi and said Chen, and the others walked over quickly, only to see Conan walking out from the inside. After seeing Yuchizi, K20, Nan was stunned. Why is his mother here? She is still with Hyuga Chen, she hasn't returning to the United States. When Conan looked at Yukiko, Yukiko looked at Conan as well. I felt that this child was a little familiar. Uptak, it was exactly the same as when Shinra was a child. If there is a difference, I am afraid that his head is bigger. But he doesn't have such a big head. When he noticed that Yukiko was staring at him, the cold sweat on Conan's forehead, it came out all of a sudden. Wouldn't he be discovered? But he thought too much, and Yukiko wouldn't have thought that her son actually changed. Cheng Yi is a child. I just think he looks familiar. Chen gave Conan a strange look, when Conan looked at Shang Chen. Obviously someone is looking at him. He already felt it, but after he raised his head, the sight disappeared. Let's go in and have a look. Chen La walked towards the museum with Xiao Ai's hand. Xiao Ai couldn't help but glance at Chen. She is not a child. Why do you still hold her hand like a child? Go inside and look at the jewelry exhibition specially placed. Chen is not very interested. I've seen countless jewels. I don't know how many are better than these. But here, Chen also saw a familiar gem, which was auctioned by Zhengchen. It's so beautiful. Xiaolan looked at these gems, her eyes sparkled. Xiaolan, your eyes are like jewels, very beautiful. Chen said to Shaolin. Shaolin's face Yuhi moistened, and then she asked Yuchizi, well, may I ask you? Is this Aunt Yuchizi? Although it looks very similar, but because Yuchizi is dressed more than a girl today, Shaolin is not. Dare to recognize HMPH, Shaolin only recognizes me now, Yuchizi snorted softly. Also, call me Sister Yuchizi in the future, don't call me Aunt Yuchizi. Yuchizi hates being called Auntie. Even Xiaoai, she ordered her to be called her sister. It's really Auntie Yuchizi, _you. When did you come back? There was a surprise on Shaolin's face. I've been back for a long time, didn't Yingri tell you? No, Shaolin shook her head gently. Shaolin, who is she? Yuanzi pulled Shaolin and asked in a low voice. It's Shinichi's mother. Shinichi's mother is so young. Sonoko looked at Yukiko in astonishment. Conan walked at the back, his brows furrowed and his face was sad. Seeing that his mother hadn't left, and he was walking very close to Hugichin, Conan is worried. I really don't know why my mother has been staying here, and she seems to be familiar with Yushangchen. No, you must find an opportunity. Remind her well that Hugichin, a dangerous person, must stay away from him. 1 point. Although I don't know the exact identity of Hyuga Chen, I also know that he is not a good person. Isn't there some strange thief 1412 _ coming to steal something? Why hasn't he come yet? After walking around for a while, Yukiko asked involuntarily. Conan rolled the eyes of the dead fish. Are you expecting someone to steal something? But he also knows Yukiko well and likes to watch lively things. Conan thought of the notice, and now he hasn't cracked it yet. It's almost done. I wandered here for a long time. After reading it all over, Chen walked out very bored. What kind of treasures he has not seen before. The things he sees now really can't catch his eyes. Mr. Shiro Suzuki, I've mobilized all the cops and surrounded the entire museum, which will definitely keep Kato Kid coming and going. Nakamori Silver 3 confidently said that Nakamori Silver 3 is a police department. The police department of the Intelligence Criminal Investigation Department of the 2nd Division of the Metropolitan Police Department aims to arrest the Phantom Thief Kid as the highest goal. However, although this goal has been achieved, it has not been achieved. He has been tricked many times. But he still has some abilities. Officer Zongson, I don't trust you very much. I heard that Kaito Kid has succeeded many times under your nose. Suzuki Shiro said indifferently. In the world of Conan, Japanese people don't have much trust in the police, and their performance is mainly poor. This is the world of detectives, so the police will naturally become the background board. If the police are very powerful, then do you still need a detective? Nakamori Silver 3 was a little embarrassed. This didn't leave him any face. I will speak with the facts. Tak, Nakamori Silver 3 snorted coldly, and then went to deploy the police. As long as the thief kid dared to come, it's absolutely impossible for him to escape. Officer, in my opinion, let's unpack that notice first, said a policeman standing next to him. Well, we do need to unpack the notice. Damn Phantom Thief Kid, he must be caught. Nakamori Silver 3 hated Kiba the Phantom Thief Kid, because the Phantom Thief Kid couldn't catch him, and he didn't know how many, so he gave him Byakugan. And the Phantom Thief Kid was openly in the robbery, saying that he was stupid and can't be. Excuse me, tisk tisk. Chen has a playful smile on his face. Heiyu fights this guy quickly. I don't know if he is a smart person or a fool, but he actually goes against his old husband. Does this mean he wants to be beaten to death? What are you laughing at? Xiaoai raised his head 1.3 and asked. No laughing, do you still want to go shopping? Chen asked Xiaoai. Anyway, Chen is enough to stroll here. If Xiaoai wants to continue shopping, Chen also doesn't mind to accompany him. Xiaoai shook her head along the meaning, even if you read it. Those are not our things. If you want, I can give you a bunch. Chen stroked Xiaoai's head. This kind of gem, in the system space, is piled up like a mountain without taking a second glance. Xiaoai stared at Chen Yi for a while and shook her head again. Not interested in this. In fact, if Chen hadn't pulled her over today, she might work on AP TX 4869 at home. Mingmei has already brought the information of APTX 4__869, and Xiaoai can now study the antidote. 863 chapter. Phantom Thief Kid appeared. Didn't the notice say that Kaido Kid will only appear tomorrow? Why is it so hot today? Not far from the Cornflower Museum. In a beverage store, Shaolin drank the juice and said in a low voice. To be so inspiring for a Phantom Thief Kid. No matter how powerful Kaido Kid is, he is just a thief. Looking at the police force around him, there are definitely more than 50 people. Because the Phantom Thief Kid's reputation is too loud, not only in Japan, but also in the whole world. So it's not surprising that the police pay attention to it. Sonoko said. Phantom Thief Kid is also great. In the international arena, of course, that is the Black Feather robbery. Not Kuroba Kato. Steal the jewelry and return it. Is he sick? Xiaolan was very strange and did not understand. He obviously stole the jewelry. But still have to go back. Since this is the case, then why go to steal? Maybe there may be other purposes uptack. Chen chuckled, Sheng said. 15_Keto Kuroba naturally has other moons. He wanted to investigate the cause of death of his father, Kuroba Ruichi, and to find out the murderer. The second generation of Kaido Kid. The one who killed the Black Feather Pirates seems to be a mysterious organization. It may be the Organization in Black. After all, the Organization in Black has done a lot of bad things. Let's talk about what to do and take a break. Let's leave. I didn't continue shopping. I'm interested in going down. Aren't you going to continue watching? I haven't taken you to a good tour of the Dark Stars in our house. Come on. The Dark Stars place there. It's actually a product. No interest at all in waving. Fake. Yuanzi was stunned. She didn't know that the one she was holding was a fake. Didn't you say that the heirloom pearls in your family have existed for many years? Pearls that have existed for many years. But they won't be so shiny. Equals you can tell it's a suitable product by looking at them. It's too obvious. So it is. Go. Sonoko nodded lightly. Yes. According to the importance of the Dark Stars to their family, if it is true. It won't be so easy to take out the value of that pearl. Let's not talk about it. The important thing is its significance to the Suzuki family, which is of extraordinary significance. So even if they were confident that they would not be stolen by Kid the Phantom Thief, the Suzuki Foundation would never dare to be careless. So the really Dark Stars were not taken out at all. Chen left with Xiaoai, and Xiao Izumi Yuhiko was naturally not interested. When Chen and Chen left for the night, Chen left the house with great interest, and went to the Kuplu Hotel. Kid will appear, and Chen wants to see it. 002, Leader, why do you want to go to the Kuplu Hotel? Mingmei drove the car and looked at Chen in confusion. Go to meet a thief for a while. There was a smile on the corner of Chen's mouth. Mingmei's eyes moved. She was about to be gone. Guess who the thief Chen is talking about? It must be Kid, because her sister also mentioned it in the daytime. She asked, how did the leader know that Kato Kid will appear here? Chen smiled mysteriously. The reason why he knew was not that he had cracked the notice, and Chen didn't read the notice at all, but he knew it already. Let's go up and wait. It will take a while for the thief to come. Chen opened the car door, and Mingmei got up to the building of the Kuplu Hotel. Mingmei didn't continue to ask. Anyway, she knew that Chen was very mysterious. Just follow Chen. In the building of the Kuplu Hotel, Chen looked down. The Kuplu Hotel is a very tall building in Tokyo, and from here you can see the bright lights below. Today's night it's not very good. Chen raised his head and looked at the sky, but the moon did not appear. Mingmei stood in front of Chen. Just like Chen, he raised his head and looked at the night sky and the stars that appeared and disappeared in the clouds. Solid. Since Xiaoai was taken out of the organization, Mingmei's heart has calmed down and the stone that has been pressing on her heart has been completely removed. After a while, Conan came here out of breath and saw the person standing here. The two figures were stunned all of a sudden. Yo, Conan, you don't sleep at night, why did you come here? Chen turned around and looked at Conan with a faint smile. It's you. Conan saw Chen Zhuan. He turned around and frowned. Why are you here? Conan, you are still so rude. Do you want to tell my brother? If Shaolin finds out, do you think she will teach you a lesson? Conan was cold. Humph. I guessed why Chen came here. Is it also because of Kaido Kid? This is very likely. The other party may have cracked the notice and knew that Kaido Kid will appear here. Stay on Chen's body and stay light. In an instant, Conan's moonlight looked at Mingmei. Looking at Mingmei, Conan's moonlight flickered, but he still remembered the scene where Mingmei beat the Jin. I really don't know, she looks like a weak woman, why can she be casual beating a super killer? Mingmei glanced at Conan. She too knew Conan's identity. Kudo Shinichi, like her sister, took that medicine to become smaller. Conan looked at it, ignored Chen and Mingmei, and was alone walking aside. I was very wary of the two of them in my heart. These two people may not be from the Black Organization, but they may be from other forces. Anyway, they are definitely not decent. Chen doesn't matter. Hey Kuido, that guy, why didn't he come over yet? He actually asked me to wait for him here. Chen stretched his waist and said lightly. It's almost 1 a.m. now, if he doesn't come again, Chen will be ready to go back. After another 10 minutes, just as Chen was about to leave, a white figure appeared on the top floor of the Kobo Hotel, dressed in a white dress. Conspicuous. Chen glanced at him. In this dark night, wearing a white dress, is he worried that others will not see him? Can anyone escape with confidence in anyone's hands? Mingmei couldn't help but look at him. Wearing such conspicuous clothes, is he really a thief? Yeah, I didn't expect someone to be here. I don't know if they are waiting for me. Kaido Kid saw Chen, Mingmei and Conan. Some surprises. Looks like his announcement. It was cracked, and it really happened twice. Kid, the Phantom Thief, felt that he looked down on others a bit. This Phantom Thief Kid is very young. Mingmei looked at Chen suspiciously. Kaido Kid has been active for so long. Mingmei thinks Kaido Kid should be a middle-aged man, but after seeing it now, it is not. This guy should be. Kid, the second-generation Phantom Thief, was the man from before after all. Dead in my hands. Chen glanced at the Thief Kid, deliberately louder. 860th Chapter 5. Kid's appearance. Hey, it's me, I'm Officer Nakamori. Everyone who is guarding at the Kobo Hotel pay attention. Kid is on the roof of the house, and everyone immediately surrounds him. Kid imitated the voice of Nakamori. Silver 3, go on. Conan was stunned to see that he could change his voice without using a voice changer. This voice changer is so powerful. Conan was a little envious. If he also had this ability, he wouldn't need to use that voice changer. Chen and Mingmei looked at Kid lightly. Watch him show off his voice-changing abilities with a walkie-talkie. This guy. What do you want to do? Conan looked at Kid puzzled. In this way, his position is directly exposed. Is it just a moment when Kid wants to surrender himself? It was thrown behind Conan's head. Looking at Kid's appearance, it didn't look like he was about to surrender. Soon the helicopter flew over, and the lights shone on Kid. Kid was not afraid at all. Instead, he was very calm. Don't move, Kid. Nakamori Silverson angrily pushed open the door to the top floor. Pistol aimed at Kid. Because Kid imitated his voice before, Nakamori Silver was very angry, feeling that Phantom Thief 580 Kid was deliberately teasing him. It turned out to be Officer Nakamori. How are you? Kid said hello, thinking about Nakamori Silver 3 times. Nakamori Silver 3 is not happy, and now he is still playing haha. Is this disrespectful to him? Kid, your notice letter has been untied, and now you have no way to escape. You also steal the dark stars. Don't go. Nakamori Silver-san said confidently. And now the police have surrounded the Phantom Thief Kid. Whether it is in the sky or below, there are police forces all over the place. Even if he can fly, he can't escape. I stole the dark stars today. Didn't I make it very clear in the notice letter that last April equals April Fool's Day? It's just a joke. Hey, no matter what the joke, it's hard for you to fly today with your wings attached. Kaido Kid, he smiled, then a glider appeared behind him, and the flashbang in his hand also landed on the ground. No, he's going to run, hurry up and grab him. Nakamori Silver 3 immediately shouted A, but the strong light had already made everyone cover their eyes, and Kaido Kid took the opportunity to leave. Let him leave. Akemi asked Chen. How can you let him go so easily? BFEG, reward him with something. Chen lightly laughed. A handful of kunai appeared in his hand, and Chen threw it out. Kunwu made a sound of breaking through the air and directly pierced the Phantom Thief base that was flying far away. Diz glider, the Phantom Thief kid who was digging the glider, suddenly felt that the glider couldn't control it. 6. Naturally, it fell down like a bird. Then the poor face landed first, leaving a mark on his face. With a lot of bruises, will she fall to her death? If she falls to her death, then his life is bad. Chen took Mingmei out of here. Kid should not die so easily. Of course, if he does die, that's okay too. After Kid opened high, a note fell down. On April 19th, the Cerebeth will set sail from Yokohama port, and I will order the real Dark Star Pearl on board. I want to order the Phantom Thief Kid. Let's go too, Chen said to Akemi. After Chen and Mingmei left, Conan, who was looking at the note, remembered Chen and Mingmei. The previous Conan seemed to have forgotten their existence. Officer, have you seen a man and a woman leave here? Conan asked, pulling the clothes of the person next to him. No, it's just you and the Phantom Thief Kid. By the way, little brother, why are you here? The police officer asked strangely. Conan looked at him in astonishment, but he didn't see the two of them, and Conan felt a little cold in his heart. This child. You are responsible for sending it back. Nakamori Silver 3 looked at Conan and said. Although I don't know why the child Conan is here, but since I see one, I will definitely send him back. In addition, I informed Mr. Shiro Suzuki that the Phantom Thief Kid didn't give up on the Dark Stars. Ah, you guys are back. Have you seen the famous Phantom Thief Kid? Mikazu Sato asked. Although Sato Mawako is a police officer, but she belongs to a class, so she did not participate in it this time. Mingmei nodded slightly. I did see the Phantom Thief Kid, but this Phantom Thief Kid was different from what she had in her mind. I thought it was a middle-aged uncle, but I didn't expect it was just a young man. And people who like to pretend. Obviously, you can escape before the police arrive. But I had to wait for the police to come and run away in front of the police. It's already so late, why are you still not sleeping? Is it because I can't sleep without me? Chen put Mawako in his arms and Mingmei saw this scene, her face slightly yuhi, and immediately ran to her room. Chen also returned to the room with Mawako in his arms. Mawako just struggled for a while, struggling a little, but it didn't take much effort. In a small alley, the Phantom Thief Kid came out of the bush. At this time, he was extraordinarily embarrassed, and his dress and white cloak were all stained with dust. The hat is also missing. Her hair was messy, blood was dripping from her face, and she walked crookedly. Mr. Terai, come and pick me up. Kid called and asked Terai Wangjisuk to come over. Terai Wangnosuk is his assistant. He is also the assistant of the previous Kaido Kid, Kuroba Ruichi. Master, are you injured? Terai Wangjisuk listened to the strange thief kid's voice. Asked immediately. Gutsi Kid's eyes were cold. Today, he suffered a big loss. He hurriedly left before he even finished the coercion, but he still did it like this, feeling the burning pain on his face, and Kid's anger deepened. I don't know if he'll be out of shape because of this. Pity his face, who can rely on his face to eat, if he loses his appearance because of this. It was so unacceptable that he couldn't accept it himself. Soon Terai Wangnosuk came over. Looking at Kid, whose face was covered in blood, he was shocked. Master, why did you do this? Go back and talk about it. Kid got into the car and wiped the blood from his face. It's good that he can save his life. Fortunately, he also has some skills, otherwise he would fall from such a high place, even if it wasn't a straight fall. There is only one dead end. Back home, check the injury. Scars are inevitable, so deep scars, there is no way to heal. Kid's face was gloomy. Because of the scars, it looks extraordinarily ugly. He can be sure that the reason why he fell from the sky is because of that man and that woman, otherwise he never had an accident. Why did it happen this time, and Kid also discovered the hole on the glider. That was cut open by a sharp tool. 866 chapter. Board the Sally Bess cruise ship on April 19, Yokohama port. A luxurious cruise ship stops here. This is Sally Bess. I don't know why, as soon as I saw the cruise ship, I thought it would sink. Chen said as he walked towards the cruise ship, and the people around looked at Chen Nuyu. It is very unlucky to say that the cruise ship will sink before boarding. Chen, don't talk nonsense. Shaolin said quickly to Chen. Chen will appear here. One was invited by Sonoko. Little Izumi Yuhiko did not come, only Chen came. I don't know if the Phantom Thief Kid will come. I heard that the Phantom Thief Kid has left a notice again. Shaolan said in a low voice. This is not certain. Chen touched his chin and said, the Phantom Thief Kid must have fallen hard before. Although it has been more than half a month, who knows whether he has recovered or not, maybe the head is dead. Police Officer Chamu, I asked to suspend this activity. Silver Nakamori shouted to Officer Chamu. He was far away from Gao, and Chen heard his Taisheng growl. The other party is the notorious Phantom Thief Kid, and it is very easy to get on. His goal was that precious pearl. Officer Nakamori, don't get excited. Police Officer Chamu immediately appeased Nakamori. Silver 3. This event is not something that can be stopped if you want to. This is an event supported by the Suzuki Foundation, well-known people from all walks of life. It was easily suspended, and the month was organized by the Suzuki Consortium. Officer Chamu said with a wry smile. What's more, if we really stop the banquet, wouldn't it make the outside world think that we are afraid of a thief? 9. This is not allowed. How can the police give in to a thief? 2 police officers, you are here. Don't you think there's something wrong with saying this? Chen said lightly. Officer Chamu and Nakamori Silver immediately turned around and looked at Chen and Shaolin who were standing behind. Then they felt that it was really inappropriate. How could they talk about it here? What about this kind of thing? It's not good after being heard by BA. Well, please don't spread our conversation out. Officer Chamu said quickly. Chen nodded lightly, but he was not interested in speaking out their conversation. Besides, their conversation was nothing, just letting others know. It would affect the image of the police, and celebrities from all walks of life came to the ship. It's almost time to come. Shaolan, maybe your mother is here too. Chen said to Shaolin. The Suzuki Consortium invited famous people from all walks of life, and concubine Yingri Mian is already famous enough. As the legal queen with the first 100% win rate, even the Suzuki Consortium can't help but take it seriously. With the relationship between Sonoko and Shaolin, it is very possible to invite concubine Eri. But I just don't know if concubine Eri will come. The Suzuki Foundation may invite, but concubine Eri may not come. My mother is so busy, shouldn't be free. Shaolin shook her head, but she knew how busy her mother was. Chen, Shaolin, why are you here so late? It's going to be dark soon. Sonoko's eyes suddenly lit up when he saw Chen and Shaolin walking in. I am sorry Sonoko. Shaolin looked at Yuanzi apologetically. Because she came here after playing around with Chen, it was a bit late. It must be the two of you who went on a date, so you came so late. Sonoko continued complaining. Shaolin smiled embarrassedly, her face turned Yuhi, and immediately changed the subject and asked, did my dad come over? You mean Uncle Maori? Sonoko's expression was a little weird. She pointed not far away. She looked along the moonlight of Sonoko. Shaolin also knew Sonoko's expression, why it was so weird. Because not far away, her father, Kogoro Mori, was disregarding his image. He was eating and drinking too much, and the people around him kept away from him. Shaolan, do you want to go over? Forget it. Fever on the face. I think so too. Yuanzi lightly bears the head. Here are all people with status, such as Mori Koichigoro, who is not good at the image. It is estimated that he is the only one. The sound of stepping on high heels came. Chen looked back. I saw Fei Yingli in business attire, walking towards this side. Mom. Shaolan looked at Seer Yingli in a daze. The mother of the people came here when she was free. Shaolan. A smile appeared on Fu Ying's cold face. Xiaolan looked at Hao Ying Li Yila. Then she hurriedly looked at Agoro Maoriyama. Now that my mother is here, is it not that my father has lost his face completely? Follow Xiaolan's line of sight. Feiyingri looked at the moonlight, and immediately saw Kogoro Mori. Because Kogoro Handari, who was out of tune with the surroundings, was too out of the ordinary. After seeing him, Feiyingri didn't show any expression. It's a shame. It's not ashamed, anyway, it has nothing to do with her. Concubine Yingri has completely given up on Maori Kogoro. That, Xiaolan, you don't need to say it. Fei Yingli shook her head at Xiaolan. Chen, long time no see. Fei Yingli greeted Chen. Long time no see. Dear guests, I'm glad you can give me a face, to attend this banquet. What a thief. Just forget him, said Shuru Suzuki, who was at the forefront. As he spoke, Shuru Suzuki's moonlight looked at Chen below, with a trace of resentment in his eyes, and a sneer appeared at the corner of Chen's mouth. Really dare to come. This guy's disguise is really very good. No one can see that he has become Suzuki Shuru. Even Sonoko can't see it. This Suzuki Nakaro, it's the, soon, disguised by Kaido Kid. What are you looking at? Xiaolan asked as she tugged at the corner of Chen's clothes. I didn't see anything. Chen shook his head gently, and Xiaolan didn't have much time. Before this, I want to tell you, an idea that came to my mind. Tomoko Suzuki stepped out. Looking at Tomoko Suzuki, everyone present didn't dare to underestimate her, even though she was a woman. But most of the affairs of the Suzuki Consortium were handled by her master. When boarding the boat, I once handed this small box to every guest present, and now please open it. When they heard Tomoko Suzuki's words, everyone couldn't help but open it curiously, not knowing what the Suzuki family had prepared for them. To be honest, this is my little challenge to some stupid thief. Suzuki Tomoko had a faint smile on her face, as if she had mastered everything in her hands. This is it. Dark Star Pearl. After opening the box, everyone was shocked when they saw the jet black pearl. What a beautiful pearl. Xiaolan took out the pearl, and it shone brightly under the light. 867th chapter. How did you find me? So many pearls. Shouldn't they all be real? Xiaolan asked Sonoko. It must not be all true. There is only one real dark star, but I don't know which one it is. Sonoko stuck out his tongue and said, Mrs. Suzuki, is this the dark star, the heirloom of the Suzuki family? Quote. Some people couldn't help asking. That's right. This is our heirloom dark star, and it's also the main target of Kaido Kid tonight, of course. There is only one genuine product. As for who I will give the genuine product to, I am the only one who knows. Tomoko Suzuki said. After the guests at the banquet heard it, they picked it up and observed it, but they also knew that what they had in their hands could not be real. Chen, this one of yours is different from ours. Xiaolan looked at the dark star, 0.23 inches in Chen's hand. This dark star in Chen's hand looks a little dark. The light doesn't shine as brightly either. You must be fake. Sonoko glanced at him and said. Chen's expression was a little weird. Looking at the dark star in his hand, he said with a light smile, this one in my hand seems to be a real dark star. The one he was holding should be real, but this is really, actually handed over to him. What is Tomoko Suzuki doing? Really, it shouldn't be possible. 3 inches. Xiaolan looked surprised. This dark star of Chen looks the least like it's the one of the real dark stars. No, this is very likely to be true. Fei Yingli said after sizing up. Concubine Yingli was very surprised that since it was a family heirloom and did not hold it by herself, it was actually handed over to an outsider. Yuanzi, don't you recognize me? Xiaolan asked Yuanzi. The garden shook his head slightly. She is not interested in this, and the dark stars have only seen it a few times. Not interested in watching at all. The Phantom Thief Kid wants to steal the dark stars. He must within these 3 hours. Determine which one is the real dark star. I don't know if he can do it. Tomoko Suzuki glanced in the direction of Chen and the others. Then said with a smile. The guests below. They also laughed. Yuanzi, what are you looking around? Chen patted Yuanzi on the shoulder and asked. It's strange, Why didn't I see my sister? Isn't my sister also coming? Yuanzi took out his phone from his bag. Prepare to call Ayako Suzuki. After calling, Ayako Suzuki was surprised. The ship has already left the port. What's the matter? I should ask you, what time do you think it is now? Sonoko couldn't help but say that her sister had become too sloppy. The time has come. Still staying at home. But the sheriff called me. Tell me that the time for the port is delayed by 2 hours. Yes, Dad, you talk. What? Dad is at home. Sonoko couldn't help but startled. She slipped, but fortunately Chen helped her catch it. Otherwise, her valuable mobile phone would be scrapped. Dad is actually at home. Who did we see before? Could it be a ghost? Sonoko shivered. Sonoko said this. Shaolin was also scared, and immediately approached Chen. It must not be a ghost. The person who pretended to be your father before must be the Phantom Thief Kid. Chen said very speechlessly. Phantom Thief Kid is so courageous. He dares to pretend to be my father. Damn it, I want to find him. Sonoko is very upset. President Suzuki is gone. Shaolin looked at the platform set up in front, and Shiro Suzuki had disappeared. It must be the odious Phantom Thief Kid who ran away because he was afraid of being discovered. Come on, I'll take you to find him. There was a smile on Chen's face. Chen, do you know the whereabouts of the strange thief kid? Fei Yingli looked at Chen curiously. Chen nodded lightly. Pass him. That's impossible. Then hurry. I can't wait to catch this thief. Yuanzi shouted excitedly and Chen led the way. Shaolin, Yuanzi, and concubine Yingri followed and walked towards the cabin. In the cabin, a staff member pushed the car and slowly moved towards Chen and the others. After walking over and seeing Chen, a light flashed in the eyes of the staff member. Passing by, the staff wanted to leave quickly, but Chen suddenly stopped, and Shaolin and the others who were behind Chen also stopped. Looking at Chen, Kid the thief, don't you say anything when you see me. Chen said indifferently, he is the peculiar kid. I can't guess that he is the famous Phantom Thief Kid. Sir, you are mistaken, I'm just a staff member, not Phantom Thief Kid. Oh, can this staff member tell me your name? Let me check, Chen asked jokingly. Kid's face froze. He let go of the pushing cart, turned around and asked, how did you find me? He thought he was hiding it. Very good. Ordinary people should not be able to find themselves, but how did Chen find out his identity? Just your clumsy hiding. Can you still hide from me? Chen looked disdainful. The disdainful smile made Kid feel stimulated, and his heart burst into anger, and kicked Chen's side with his legs. Shaolin saw this. Immediately but Chen reached out his hand to stop Shaolin and raised his leg to block Kid's side kick. Kid felt as if he had kicked on an iron plate. His bones were split, and his entire calf lost consciousness. Do it with me, you are still far away, damn it. Kid had a cold sweat on his forehead, took a few steps back, and the moonlight stared at Chen coldly. Chen, do you have any grudge against him? Fei Yingli looked at the moonlight of Dana's hatred. Can't help but ask Chen. A little bit of hatred, seems to have hurt him before. Chen Hun said indifferently. Looking at Chen Hun's indifference to 5.3 feet's appearance, Kid became even more angry, but he was disfigured because of this, leaving ugly scars on his face, scars that could not be removed. During this time, he never went to school, and even Nakamori Aoko came to him. He didn't dare to show his face, for fear that his current appearance would scare her. All of these were given by Baichen. The hatred between them was too much. Now I see Chen doesn't seem to care at all, how can he bear it? You die for me. Kid took out a pistol. This pistol is a magic card pistol. It can fire magic cards, as well as hooked ropes, flags, suction cups and other objects. Don't think it's a card pistol and think it's not very powerful, but it can a card pistol that cuts the chain and cuts the tempered glass. The strength can be adjusted, and it is a proper black technology. 868 Chapter. Spend money to eliminate disasters uptack. To actually use a dangerous thing like a gun, Chen holds the card fired by this magic card pistol in his hand. Kid was so nervous that he was able to hold this card. What kind of monster is it? The power of this gun can be adjusted. Now he has adjusted to the maximum strength. Is the steel plate can be inserted, some. When kid was angry before, he regretted it, because he would become a murderer if he was not careful. It's good to be a thief, he didn't do anything too wicked, and everything he stole will be returned, so the police won't treat him in any special way. But if he becomes a murderer, what awaits him is the police have all kinds of guns, and no matter how strong he is very weak in the face of bullets. It might be difficult to catch him. But if you want to kill him, it's too easy. Wounding someone with a murder weapon. If caught, I will file a lawsuit and I should be sentenced to life. Fei Yingli said, holding up her glasses. Kid's face turned black, he glared at Chen and them angrily, and then wanted to escape because he was not an opponent. So fleeing is the best choice. The ability to catch his cards with his bare hands made Kid very uneasy. Grabbed the cart behind him, shoved it towards Chen, and then Kid ran away. If you don't have a good chat, you just want to escape, how can it be that easy? Chen kicked the cart. The cart slammed into Kid's body instantly as if a propeller was installed. Kid stood on the ground in the image of a dog eating shit. It hurts. Broken. Chen, are you going to arrest him? Fei Yingli asked Chen. I have this plan. If he is arrested, I believe that the Metropolitan Police Department should give some rewards. Chen said with a smile. Actually, I really want to know. What the hell Kid looks like? Sonoko's face showed curiosity. Listening to his voice just now, it shouldn't be an uncle. I feel that the voice is similar to that of a high school student. Could it be that Kid is a high school student? Xiaolan's face showed confusion. Xiaolan, don't forget. The Phantom Thief Kid is a grandmaster. Fei Yingli said to Xiaolan. Yeah, it's possible that an old man is pretending to be tender. Sonoko said viciously. Kid pushed away the car that was pressing on him. Let's get up. This should be one of the biggest crises since his debut and he had to find a way. If he leaves and is caught and sent to prison, then everything will be over. Kid doesn't want to go to prison to spend the rest of his life. What's more, if he is caught, everything will be exposed. At that time, wouldn't Aoko know about his Phantom Thief Kid? Because Phantom Thief Kid often teased her father, Nakamori Aoko hated Kaito Kid very much. If she was told, she would definitely hate herself. There are 3 beauties here now. I'm too violent, so you should just be obedient. Chen said to Kid. Concubine Yingri, Xiaolan, and Sonoko's faces were slightly yuhi, and there was a hint of surprise in their eyes. They were praised as beautiful women, and of course they were happy. Especially Sonoko, grabbed Chen's arm with both hands, and asked, Chen, do you really think I'm a beautiful woman? Chen glanced at Sonoko, and then said apologetically, I am so sorry Sonoko, when she was talking about a beauty, added you. What? You damned bastard. Sonoko huffed. In fact, Sonoko is also a beautiful woman, but she is bluffing, it spoils her image a bit. Now Sonoko is wearing a dress, and she is really beautiful when she is quiet, but she is not the kind of character who likes quietness at all. Kid didn't look at him when he saw Chen, and immediately retreated quietly to the back, trying to take the opportunity to slip away. Mr. Kid, where do you want to go? Chen raised his head, and the sharp moonlight locked Kid. After being locked by Qiguang, Kid felt like a lamb who had fallen into a trap and could not escape at all. What do you want? Knowing that you can't escape, you can only talk about conditions. Judging from his appearance, it seems that he doesn't want to send himself to prison, otherwise the police have come by now. But he didn't dare to drag the time. Now the ship is full of police patrolling. If he is found, he will definitely be arrested. Although he has many means, he cannot guarantee it. Even if you are caught, you can escape at the hands of the police. What to do? Take money to eliminate disasters, and spend money to buy peace, don't you think? Chen smiled. Kid looked at this smile, and the smile seemed very sunny. But he felt so disgusting. Chen, is this a bit bad? Xiaolan said, it's nothing bad, he's a bad guy, and that's how you should deal with bad guys. If you get knocked once, let's see if he dares to come out and steal, this stupid thief. Bastard, I'm not a thief. Bang tilde, PFF tilde. Cough cough tilde. Kid clutched his abdomen in pain, looking at Chen, who had withdrawn his fist expressionlessly. A trace of hatred flashed in his eyes. Who did you drive just now? Kid didn't dare to speak. After a long silence, Shang Chen asked. How much do you want? Chen touched his chin and said, take out all your property. Impossible. It seems that money is more important to you, but I don't know if you are in prison. Would you still think that money is more important? Chen took out his mobile phone and pretended to notify the police. Kid took a deep breath. Okay, I promise you. Happy 430. Then you can go back and raise money. Chen waved his hand to let him leave. Although Kid was surprised that Chen let him leave so easily, but now his life is right in front of him. He hasn't slipped away yet, so what are you waiting for? Kid left, and Chen didn't stop him in the slightest. Let him leave like this. Why did you let him go? Fei Yingli looked at Chen Yi strangely. If you let him go, you can get a lot of money. I don't know how much the Phantom Thief Kid has. But if you let him go like this, what if he defaults on the bill? Xiao Lan was a little speechless. Although Xiao Lan was naturally dumb, she was not a fool, so she could naturally guess that the other party might default on her bill. It doesn't matter. I'm not afraid that he will default on his debts. I just don't know if he has the guts to default on his debts. If he does, then don't blame me for being rude. Chen said with a slight smile. Let's go back. Oh, I forgot to take a look at the real face of Kaido Kid. If I can take a picture and post it on the internet, it should be very popular. Sonoko patted his head and said. Although Kid is a thief, he is a very popular thief. Because of his appearance, there are many people who admire Kid. But now if he really shoots Kid the photos of, and uploaded to the internet, it is estimated that it will not be popular, and the probability of collapse is a little higher, because the current Wheezy Kid has been broken. 869th chapter. What does Tomoko Suzuki mean? Sister Shaolin, what did you do before? Conan asked curiously. Conan came with Mori Kogoro. Before, he had been looking at Chen and the others. Of course, when he saw that Chen and the others had left, he wanted to follow. But because there were too many people, he couldn't find him if he was not careful. To Chen their traces. It's nothing, Conan. Shaolin didn't say anything about the past. Will Phantom Thief Kid still be on this ship? Sonoko asked in a low voice beside Chen's ear. Probably not. Maybe he has run away. Chen guessed that Wheezy Kid should have retreated, after being taught a lesson. He certainly won't be here any longer. Now he should also know that the real dark stars are in Chen's hands and take away the dark stars in his hands. It is almost absolutely impossible. Therefore, he has to give up the path of stealing the dark stars. Although doing so may affect his reputation, it is nothing compared to being caught in a prison. If caught, but it's over. Although Wheezy Kid has some skills, he is not sure if he is caught and can escape. Why did you come here, woman? Mori Kogoro came over with the smell of alcohol, and after seeing Fei Yingri, his drunken and hazy eyes became clearer. HMPH, where I came from, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with you. Fei Yingli said coldly, even looking at him a little more. A little embarrassing. Looking at the two of them, he sighed helplessly. Hello, are you the famous Maori Kogoro? A decent-looking wife came over and asked in surprise at the sight of Maori Kogoro. At this time, Maori Kogoro is also a bit famous, and it was completely different from obscurity before. Saw someone coming. Mori Kogoro immediately put down his glass, straightened his suit, and wiped his hair. That's right, I'm Kogoro Mori. Kogoro Mori said proudly, I wonder if you can give me an autograph. I like your reasoning very much, the sleeping famous detective. Ahahaha. When Maori Kogoro heard the words, he stuck out his tongue, and laughed too uncharacteristically. Of course you can. Kogoro Mori looked proudly at Fei Yingli, but Fei Yingli ignored him at all. Let's move to another place. Seeing some people, it's a little annoying. Concubine Yingri Pingcheng said. Well, okay. Xiaolan lowered her head in disappointment. His own father really. It wasn't long before the voyage this time, and Kaido Kid didn't show up at all, which made everyone on the boat talk a lot. Bah, that coward, shouldn't he dare to show up? 0 inches, isn't this a normal thing? The Suzuki Consortium is a giant, and the Phantom Thief Kid wouldn't dare to provoke him. Otherwise, there is still him in Japan. Sit in the place where the Phantom Thief Kid didn't appear. Some people who wanted to watch the fun were disappointed. Conan was a little puzzled as to why the Phantom Thief Kid didn't appear. Although I only contacted him a few times, according to our understanding, the strange thief kid had not appeared. As long as a notice is issued, it will definitely appear. He has investigated the information, and Kato Kid has not broken his appointment once. But what happened this time? Could something go wrong and the police are strange? No, why? If you haven't come, it's already coming to the shore, and if Kid doesn't come, there will be no chance. Nakamori Silver said to himself. Officer Nakamori, isn't it a good thing that you didn't come? I'm waiting for him to come. Let's see how he runs. However, the other police officers did not have so much fighting spirit, because they had been teased all the time. They didn't have any hope of catching the Phantom Thief Kid and the ship would land soon. Lai was invited to all get off the boat, but Chen didn't get off the boat and left. He still held the real Dark Star in his hand. Xiaolan, won't you leave with me? Maori Kogoro asked Xiaolan. Yes, Sister Xiaolan, let's go home quickly. Conan shouted. Chen could clearly feel Conan's hostile moonlight, but it doesn't matter. Chen doesn't care about his hostile moonlight at all. You go back first, today I'm going to go to my mother's place. Xiaolan shook her head gently. What are you going to do with that woman? Mori Kogoro frowned, and after muttering a few words, he pulled Conan and turned to leave. Conan looked at Xiaogu unwillingly. Ran was dragged away by Kogoro Mori. Soon, apart from the staff, there were only Chen and the others on the boat. As the initiator of this banquet, Tomoko Suzuki walked over in high heels. Her legs were wearing gray stockings with matching the high heels look very tall. Tomoko Suzuki is very tall. Mom, you are here. Sonoko ran towards Tomoko Suzuki. Sonoko, you have to pay attention to your image. The second young lady, you can't keep this kind of character, you have to change it. Got it. Yuanzi left her tongue. As for whether she listened, only she knows. Hello, Mr. Chen. Suzuki Tomoko looked at Tatsuya in the moonlight. Hello, Suzuki. Well, I want to talk to Mr. Tatsu about something alone. Do you know if I can? Chen thought about what Chen was talking about, and then nodded lightly. He was also very curious. What did Tomoko Suzuki want to say to him? Let's go out first. Chen, we'll wait for you outside. Fei Yingri looked at Tomoko Suzuki again. Glancing at him, he took Xiaolan out of here. Mom, can I stay here? Sonoko asked. You better go out first. I have something very important and I want to talk to Mr. Chen alone. Good money, okay. Sonoko pouted and left. Suzuki goes. This is the Dark Star. Chen directly handed the Dark Stars to Tomoko Suzuki. Tomoko Suzuki put it away, and a smile suddenly appeared on his serious face. Mr. Chen, I'm actually very optimistic about you. I wonder if you would like to work in the Suzuki Consortium. Chen looked at her in surprise. Inviting Z2 to work for the Suzuki Foundation. Why? Relax, in terms of position. It will definitely satisfy you, and the salary aspect is not a problem. Why? Mrs. Suzuki should know, I don't know anything about business, right? Why did you invite me to work? Chen asked curiously, and Chen didn't know what Tomoko Suzuki meant. He and Tomoko Suzuki should be. First, let's meet again. As far as I know, the little girl seems to like you very much. She has mentioned you more than once in front of me. Tomoko Suzuki said after thinking about it. 800 Soil 10 chapters. Overnight in Xiaolan's room, Chen came out. With a strange expression on his face, he looked at the strange expression on Chen's face. Concubine Yingri not only asked, how is it? What did Tomoko Suzuki tell you? Yes, what did my mother tell you? Sonoko asked curiously. Your mother said that you want to recruit me as a son-in-law. Do you believe it? Chen looked at Sonoko and said, ah. Is it true? Sonoko was surprised and felt a little happy, but Xiaolan on the side was a little uncomfortable. Fake, let's go. Chen stepped forward. After getting off the boat, Chen couldn't help but look at Sonoko and asked, why did you come down with us? Of course I will come down. What will I do if I don't come down, and I won't sleep on the boat? Then you have to come with us. Are you leaving? Well, of course. Otherwise, how do I go back? Sonoko, won't you go back with your mother? Shaolin asked Sonoko. Sonoko shook her head gently, and then said, Mom, she still has to go to the company. I don't go to the company, so I won't go back with her. Then I'll take you back. Chen said. Really? Then thank you, Chen. Sonoko happily hugged Chen's arm and said. Yuanzi, it's not good for you to influence 390 like this. Shaolin looked at Yuanzi holding Chen's hand. Her heart was sour and very uncomfortable. Fei Yingli, who was walking behind, shook her head secretly. It seemed that her daughter Shaolin really liked Chen. Fei Yingli sighed secretly, not knowing what she was sighing. Chen, send Yuanzi back. Shaolin follows me back together. Fei Yingli said to Yuanzi. Mom, I'm not going to your place anymore. I decided to go back. Chen, can you send me off? Shaolin Yugong looked at Chen expectantly. Okay. Chen looked at Shaolin's expectant gaze. Couldn't bear to reject her. Fei Yingli didn't say anything, and after talking to Shaolin for a few words, she drove the car high, and Chen also took Shaolin and Yuanzi into the car. Go to see you first 2 inches. Chen sat in the driver. Looking back at the 2 women sitting in the back seat. Go to see the garden first. When you go home, you just have to pass the detective office. Xiaolan said immediately. Well, let's go to see Yuanzi first. Chen drove the car and sent Yuanzi home. After that, Chen refused Sonoko's invitation to sit down. Because it was late at night and there were no vehicles on the road, the speed was very fast, and I came to the Maori Detective Agency soon after. Shaolin is here, Chen said to Shaolin. Shaolin, who was sitting in the back, did not know what to think. The cheeks of Yuhi. Shaolan, what are you thinking about? Chen turned around and asked Shaolan. Lig, huh? Shaolin was stunned for a moment, but when she regained her senses, her cheeks became even more moist, and she suddenly lost her mind. That, has it arrived yet? Shaolin asked. Well, it's already at your house. Shaolin nodded and hesitated for a while. Plucked up the courage to say. It's very late now, why don't you stay at my house for one night? Stay at your house? Chen's voice became louder. Well, it's too late now. Shaolan's voice became smaller and smaller. Yuhi lowered her head with a sullen face. By the way, do you really have a room at home? You can live in my room, but you don't have any crooked thoughts. Shaolin's voice is relatively low. If Chen's hearing is not good, you really can't hear Shaolin there what to say. If Shaolin doesn't mind. Of course I have no opinion. I don't mind, but you must not do anything. Shaolin looked up at Chen and said. Chen shrugged. She followed Shaolin to the 3rd floor. The office was on the 2nd floor. The 3rd floor was where Shaolin's family lived. She took out the key to open the door, and Shaolin invited Chen to come in. Mori Kogoro and Conan were already asleep at this time, and Shaolin took Chen directly to her room. Just like a thief, Chen looked at Shaolin silently. As for this, came to Shaolin's room. Shaolin Lan closed the door immediately and let out a long sigh of relief. BGEF. Fortunately, Dad and the others were sleeping. Well, I'm going to take a shower. Shaolin ran to the bathroom in a panic. There was also a bathroom in Shaolin's room. Soon there was a sound of water splashing. Chen felt a little itchy when he heard the sound. After a few minutes, the sound of water splashed. Stop! Shaolin shouted to Chen embarrassedly. Chen, can you bring the pajamas I put on the head of the bed? She was embarrassed now that she forgot to take the pajamas because she hurried into the bathroom before. Okay. Chen couldn't help laughing, then picked up his pajamas and walked to the bathroom. Shaolin quietly opened a crack in the door, then stretched out a hand. Shaolin, what do you think if I go in now? Chen teased. No, absolutely not. Shaolan immediately retracted her hand, and locked the door vigilantly. Just kidding, I brought you the pajamas. Take it in now. After dawdling for a while, Shaolin opened the door. After grabbing the pajamas that Chen handed over, she immediately retracted her hands. After a while, Xiaolin put on her pajamas and walked out, glaring at Chen with a shy face. You finished wash. I should wash it then. You wait a moment. Xiaolan immediately ran to the bathroom and put away all the clothes she had changed. Go and wash. By the way, you should put on my bathrobe after washing. Xiaolan handed a bathrobe to Chen. Chen couldn't help but be embarrassed, and then said, No, I'm ready. After Chen finished speaking, a man's bathrobe appeared in his hand, which made Xiaolan stunned. Where did it come from? You can treat it as magic. Chen chuckled and walked into the bathroom. Chen took a bath very quickly and came out after a few minutes. Xiaolan was sitting on the bed, and when she saw Chen come out, her face immediately turned to Yuhi. Well, Xiaolan was shy and didn't know what to say. It's getting late, let's go to bed. Chen lay directly on Xiaolan's bed. Xiaolan's face Yuhi again Yuhi. Chen's words are very ambiguous. Xiaolan see looking at Chen lying on the side, she slowly lay down. After lying down, Xiaolan couldn't sleep at all. Elle turned around and glanced at Chen, and found that Chen seemed to have fallen asleep. She didn't know how she felt, but she was a little lost. Turning off the table lamp, Xiaolan turned around and kept her eyes fixed on Chen's profile. She couldn't help but indulge in it. Chen, are you asleep? Xiaolan pushed Chen's face with her hand. The body. Chen didn't make any movement. It seems that I really fell asleep. Am I so unattractive? Xiaolan couldn't help pouting. She fell asleep in the same bed with a beautiful girl. This is disrespect for beautiful women. 872 chapter. Why are you here? He stretched out his white jade finger and poked at Chen, but Chen still didn't move, as if he was sleeping soundly. Really asleep? Xiaolan's mouth pouted, looking at Chen with dissatisfaction. Xiaolan opened her big bright eyes, shining brightly in the dark night. She can't sleep at all. There are people of the opposite sex lying beside her. Xiaolan could fall asleep like this. Xiaolan, who couldn't sleep, looked at Chen. Under the moonlight, although it was night, she could still see Chen. This is also because the moon is brighter today. Looking at it, Xiaolan suddenly became obsessed. Her cheeks slowly approached Chen, and then she couldn't help kissing Chen's face. Xiaolan, I trust you so much in vain. I didn't expect you to be such a person. Actually took the opportunity to ruin my innocence. Xiaolan woke up suddenly, looking at Chen who was staring at her with open eyes. Her cheeks became bloody, even in the night, it was very obvious. Are you awake? Xiaolan stammered and asked. Yeah, I didn't expect Xiaolan to kiss me secretly. My innocence is gone 2 inches. Xiaolan looked at Chen shyly. Just kissed her cheek, does it need to be so exaggerated? I am sleeping. Xiaolan quickly grabbed the quilt. Covering her head, she didn't dare to look at Chen anymore. Xiaolan, you cover it inside. Isn't it hot? Quote. Xiaolan didn't answer. It was obviously too harmful. Come out, I don't care about you stealing kisses from me anymore, don't get bored. Chen patted the quilt. Xiaolan still didn't move. After a long time, maybe she was really suffocated. She stuck her head out of the quilt and asked Chen, did you just pretend to be asleep because you didn't fall asleep? Chen didn't answer. Xiaolan, who was naturally dumb, seemed to have become smarter. It's very late, go to sleep. Chen hugged Xiaolan and closed her eyes. How are you? Being held in Chen's arms, Xiaolan's body was stiff, and she couldn't help Yuhi. Become more Yuhi run. What's wrong with me? Chen asked softly. Xian received the hot wind coming from her ears. Xiaolan was confused, her body turned Yuhi colored, and her whole body was hot. Like cooked prawns. Xiaolan was lying in Chen's arms, and she didn't know when she fell asleep. But lying in Chen's arms, I feel really warm. The next day, Xiaolan opened her eyes. Last night was definitely the best day she slept. Xiaolan's biological clock is very punctual, and she usually gets up at Sergeant Star. However, today Zuhei equals I didn't wake up naturally until I slept to the point of strength. You are awake, Xiaolan. Xiaolan, who was rubbing her eyes when she heard Chen's voice, did not react. She and Chen were sleeping in the same on the bed. And now she is still in Chen's arms. Thinking of this, Xiaolan sitting up quickly. shyly covering her face and didn't say anything, lest Xiaolin be even more shy. I'll go out first, Xiaolin, you change clothes. Chen changed clothes in an instant, and then walked outside. Xiaolin couldn't help stunned when she saw Chen's change of clothes. What kind of ability is this? Is it also magic? Can I learn it? It was not until Chen left the room that Xiaolin didn't. She came back to her senses completely, thinking that she had been lying in Chen's arms for a day last night. Xiaolin couldn't help but hurt. But Chen's arms were really warm. Xiaolin was a little greedy. If time stayed at that time, then how good? Chen walked out of Xiaolin's room. Conan was stunned when he heard the movement, and then looked at Chen. Why are you here? And you still came out of Xiaolin's room? Conan's heart rose. Equals a bad premonition. Didn't Xiaolin come back? Why is Hugo-chan here? She came out of Xiaolin's room. I sent Xiaolin back yesterday. Xiaolin thought it was too late, so she left me here. Sleep here all night. No big deal. What? Conan's noise became too loud. Staring at Chen badly, his eyes turned red. This bastard, did he really sleep with Xiaolin? But soon, Xiaolin changed from I came out of the room and gave Conan the answer. After seeing Xiaolin come out, Conan's body stiffened and his heart was like a thickened flavor tile. All kinds of tastes were indescribable, and in the end, everything turned into bitterness. Conan. When Xiaolan saw Conan, her face flushed. Yuhi. Chen came out of her room just now, so she should have been seen. Sister Xiaolan, why are you two in the same room? Conan lowered his head and asked, Conan, you don't tell Dad, okay? Xiaolin said to Conan. Conan's heart was cold. Don't tell Mori Kogoro. What did the two of them do last night? It's just in a room. Conan's heart began to be paralyzed. 2. It's just the pain in his heart, which is indescribable. He feels like the top of his head is green, but what can he do? In his opinion, everything is Hyuga Chen's fault. Chen didn't even look at Conan and ignored him. By the way, where is Dad now? Xiaolin asked Conan. Conan was complicated. It seems that Xiaolin glanced at one and said silently, Uncle went to the office downstairs. Oh, it's fine. Xiaolan patted her heart. Fortunately, her father was downstairs, otherwise she didn't know how to explain the matter of Chen and her being in the same room and, Chen, let's go down first. Xiaolin said to Chen. Chen and Xiaolin walked out of the room. Conan bit Kiba, and then followed. Moonlight, who was about to kill, stared at Chen's back. Originally, Conan was full of disgust for Chen. Now it rises directly. At the peak, in Conan's eyes, Chen is more hateful than those black-clothed organizations. Instead of going to the second floor, they went directly to the first floor. Chen and Xiaolin walked into the coffee shop downstairs. This coffee shop is still Chen's. Well, but Chen rarely comes. Boss, you're here, it's really rare. Duplicate Z stared at Chen rather resentfully. What kind of eyes do you have? I've given you a promotion to the store manager. Are you still not satisfied? Boss, don't you care about your own store? Jijazi was very speechless. Isn't it because of you? You can just look at this store. I'm very at ease with you. Chen patted the model Azusa. He showed a smile. Work hard. I'm very optimistic about you. Give me 2 glasses of juice first. Hey, even though she's the store manager, she still has to work as a waiter. Jigen Azusa sighed, because she was the only one in this store. So being promoted to store manager, Moben Azusa was not happy either. She was the only one, a bear commander. There was no difference between the store manager and the store manager. You can hire 2 waiters. Forget it, it doesn't make money in the first place. If you hire people, it won't make money even more. Moben Azusa shook his head. Go to the side to pick up the juice and go to the mountain. 812 chapters. Uchizi temporarily staying up tack. Conan, don't you think that you are in the way here? Chen looked at Conan sitting next to them lightly. Not long after Chen and Xiaolin sat down, Conan walked into the coffee shop and sat next to them, acting as a light bulb. Conan glared at Chen angrily, then pretended to be childish and shouted, Sister Xiaolin, I want to drink coffee. Children, don't drink coffee anymore. Miss Momo, help prepare another glass of juice. Xiaolin shouted to Huan Benzi. Okay. Mo Benzi, who was bored lying on the bar counter, said in, Sister Xiaolan, aren't you the girlfriend of Brother Shenyi? Why have you been with him all the time? Conan said angrily. Conan, don't talk nonsense. I have nothing to do with Shinichi. Xiaolin said angrily. Between her and Shinichi, it's just that the 4 Earths childhood sweetheart relationship, there may have been good feelings in the past, but now the good feelings have basically disappeared. Xiaolin also gave Chen a special look. Seeing that Chen didn't show any expression, he breathed a sigh of relief. Conan is hurt. Look at the juice placed beside him. He drank silently and said, No, absolutely not. I have to let Xiaolin know the true face of that guy Wen Huguchen. Conan roared angrily in his heart. But how to do it? How to let Xiaolin know that this guy is not a good person? Conan has a headache. After chatting with Xiaolin for a while, Chen drove the car home. Yo, I didn't come back last night. Is there another beautiful woman with me? Chen just got home when he heard Ermoda Yin and Young's strange voice. What? Are you jealous? Chen sat down and put Belmod in his arms. Belmod didn't speak, just gave Chen a Byakugan. Where are Xiaoai and Mingmei? In their own room. They don't want to see me. Belmod said while leaning in Chen's arms, and in the same way, Belmod didn't like to see them either. If it wasn't for Chen, she had already done something to their sisters. Although Mingmei is very powerful now, it is absolutely impossible to be Belmod's opponent. Mingmei will be able to meet Belmod, and she will not see Ermod. L's door was suddenly opened. Chen looked back and saw Yukiko open the door and came out. Looking at Yuchizi, Chen was stunned. Why is this woman in his house? What's the situation? Hey, why are you in my house? I came here yesterday, because it was too late to chat, so I stayed here for one night. Yukiko said as a matter of course. I want to say, what are you coming to my house for? Because I have no job, I am bored at home alone, so I came to see Ermod and chat. Yukiko said. Akiko finds out. She and this woman who looks a lot like Sharon. It's a good chat. If it wasn't for sure that Sharon was dead, Yukiko would suspect that she was Sharon. Aren't you planning to go back to Los Angeles? By the way, you've been in Japan for a long time, but Yasaka Kudo didn't come to see you. I'm afraid he would like me to be in Japan forever. Yukiko snorted coldly. Listening to your tone, it seems like I'm not welcome, and I wish I could go. Yukiko looked at Chen very dissatisfied and said, no. You think too much. I'll stay at your house temporarily in the future. Yukiko decided. What? Chen was surprised. Yuchizi wanted to live in his house. Arikiko made this decision. There is also a reason, because her son Kudo Shinichi has been persuading her to leave the house to live. Yukiko guessed that the disobedient Shinichi must have offended someone, so Yukiko plans to live in another place. Originally, I was going to Fei Yingli's place, but now it doesn't matter here at Chen. Dee and Chen are also familiar with each other, and there is a Belmod to chat with her, and she and Belmod can chat very well. So I decided to live here temporarily. Why, don't you agree? There is such a beautiful woman who wants to live in, but you don't want to agree. What about a beautiful woman? You are not my woman. It's not impossible to live here, so be it. Warm the bed for me tonight. Chen said lightly. What did you say? Yuchizi darkened Chen angrily. Is this a human word? He actually made her warm the bed. What? I told you that I let you warm the bed. That's your honor. Many people want to warm the bed for me. I'm not qualified yet. Chen said arrogantly. Hee, I don't want this honor. Yuchizi gave Chen a sneer. Forget it, you old pearl yellow. I don't like it either. Chen said with a glance at Yuchizi. What? Yushi suddenly froze, staring at Chen angrily, the two balls in his heart. It jumped up and down, very majestic. It turns out that there is Kiko, and it's so unexpected, I didn't notice it before. You actually said that I am old and yellow. Yuchizi couldn't bear it. Age was the thing she cared about the most. Yeah, isn't it? Mother Yuchizi. Yuchizi couldn't catch her breath, and stared at Chen with murderous eyes. However, she was completely ignored by Chen Ji, and Yuchizi saw that Chen was simply ignoring her. She was so angry that she would die. If she didn't care about her image, some of them would definitely rush over and bite Chen to death. I'll go see Xiao Ai. Chen stood up and walked towards Xiao Ai's room. Bermad, that bastard is so disgusting. Yukiko said angrily to Belmad when she came to be next to Belmad. Isn't it a bit bad to call my man hateful in front of me? Belmad said to Yukiko. By the way, what is the relationship between the other women who live here and that bastard? Yukiko asked Belmad curiously. If you want to know, you can find out for yourself. Belmad looking at the curious Yukiko, she smiled slightly. Yukiko was really curious in her heart. That little Izumi Yuhiko, who was often a little abnormal, dressed in strange clothes, and the 3 or 6 little girls called Xiao Ai. It doesn't look like a child at all in Belmad. Yukiko thinks she is very mysterious. Only the policewoman Sato Mawako, and Akemi are more normal. Chen came to Xiao Ai's room and saw Xiao Izumi Yuhiko and Xiao Ai looking at the computer seriously. And Mingmei sat next to her and said, Boss, you're back. Mingmei immediately stood up and greeted when she saw Chen coming in. The two of them are. I'm studying the antidote of APTX 4869. Yuhiko is also very interested in this drug and wants to study it. Mingmei said to Chen. Chen feels a little weird. Xiao Ai's research is normal, but can Yuhiko be able to study it? Although APTX 4869's medicinal effects are not the same, but it is always scientifically researched, but Xiao Izumi Yuhiko is a witch. Her refining medicine is completely the same as this one. Different. L. 873rd chapter. It turns out that you like how Xiao Lalachan looked at Yuhiko seriously. He asked her, can you understand? Chen looked at the words on the computer screen and said that he didn't understand a single one of them. Can Xiao Izumi Yuhiko understand? I don't know, I should study my magic. Xiao Izumi Yuhi-san shook his head. What information she can't understand at all. Xiao Ai is very serious. Of course she knows these things clearly, but even if there is information, it is not so simple to make an antidote. Xiao Ai, didn't you say it's good? Why are you working so hard to study the antidote? Chen rubbed Xiao Ai's head. I just want to research the antidote. Xiao Ai took away Chen's hand. Give Chen a Byakugan too. Actually, if you really want to change back, I can help you. You don't need an antidote. Chen said to Xiao Ai that it was easy for Chen to help Xiao Ai change back, but he could control time and space. Use time acceleration to make Xiao Ai grow up. How are you going to help 16 change me back? Xiao Ai looked at Chen with suspicion in her eyes. Don't doubt my ability, I'm omnipotent, and it's easy to help you change back. Bragging. Xiao Ai gave Chen a contemptuous look and didn't believe it at all. Don't believe it. 2 inches by the way, why didn't you come back last night? Little Izumi Yuhiko asked Chen. I have something very important. What's that? Can you tell me? Next. Little Izumi Yuhiko squinted at Chen. Why are there so many 8 trigrams? Yuhiko, you were not like this before. Did you follow Sonoko to learn 8 trigrams? Chen looked at the little Izumi Yuhiko and said. Last night, weren't you with Shaolin? Little Izumi Yuhiko asked suspiciously. Chen couldn't help stunned for a moment. Is this a woman's intuition? It's so sensitive. Let me guess right. Little Izumi Yuhiko gave Chen a vicious look with a displeased expression in her eyes. Scumbag. Xiao Ai said lightly. I am sorry. Xiao Ai, what you just said too I don't seem to hear. Chen put a hand on Xiao Ai's shoulder and looked at Xiao Ai with a smile. Seeing the smile on Chen's face, Xiao Ai's body trembled, and there was a bad premonition in her heart. You, what do you want? There was a trembling in Xiao Ai's voice. Xiao Ai actually said that I'm a scum, I'm so sad now. Chen covered his heart with some exaggeration. HMPH, does Renwan also have a heart? Tsunere Xiao Ai said. Hey, since you said I'm a scum, then I have to take action. Chen smiled and kissed Xiao Ai's lips. You, was blocked. Xiao Ai was speechless, and her head suddenly became dazed. Consciousness is empty. The little Izumi Yuhiko and Akemi were sluggish, and it took a long time to react. You don't even let the little girl go, you scum beast. Xiao Ai Yuhi shouted blood in anger. are you really a little girl? Chen looked down at Yuhi's Xiaoai. Loli's body, adult soul, this should be legal loli, but if anyone sees it, they will definitely call the police and say that he is wretched loli. At that time, what awaits him is to start in 3 years, and the highest death penalty. HMPH. Xiaoai snorted coldly. Her heart was in a mess, especially when she thought of her sister was also in the house. Xiaoai's heart was shy to death. If there is a seam in the ground, Xiaoai will definitely go in without saying a word, and now she can only face Chenyi with a cold face, but let Xiaoai herself. The strange thing is that she is not angry. Do you have a good impression of this guy in your heart? Xiaoai secretly glanced at Chen. Looking at her handsome face, her little heart beats unsatisfactorily, but Xiaoai hides it very well, looking at Chen with a sullen face. Chen, so you like little loli? Yuhizi looked at Chen strangely, with jealousy in his heart. Before, she also deliberately tempted Guochen. But he was actually indifferent. Now he actually took the initiative to kiss Xiaoai. Although Xiao Izumi Yuhi knew that Xiaoai was originally an adult, but now Xiaoai is indeed a small loli with an iceberg and poisonous tongue. Maybe this guy really like little loli. Little Izumi Yuhiko bit Kiba. Whatever you think is fine. Chen spread his hands. Mingmei looked at Xiaoai in astonishment. She was acting a little abnormal. Although it seems angry, Mingmei understands Xiaoai and knows that she is not angry now. Could it be that Xiaoai fell in love with the leader? Mingmei thought to herself. This is not impossible, but Xiaoai was brought out by the leader in the black organization. Maybe because of this, he has a good impression. Mingmei's heart is a little complicated, but in fact, she also has a good impression of Chen. If it wasn't for Chen, she might have died and all the bodies were cremated, and it was also Chen who helped her rescue Xiaoai, otherwise she will never see Xiaoai, so Mingmei is full of gratitude to Chen. At first Mingmei thought she was just grateful. But now, Mingmei can feel that she seems to like Shengchen. Just with Mingmei's character, she was destined not to express herself. I'm going to cook first, I'll remember to come to eat later. Mingmei said. Mingmei is a person who can go out of the hall and the kitchen, and has a unique cooking skill. It's no worse than Xiaolan's cooking skills. By the way, is there anything you want to eat? As long as it's made by Mingmei, I like to eat it. Chen smiled slightly towards Mingmei. Mingmei was stunned for a moment. A dizzy Yuhi appeared on her face. Her heart was sweet, and a smile appeared on her face unconsciously. Damn scum. Xiaoai glanced at her sister, bit Kiba and stared at Chen. She had just molested her, and now she is still hooking up with her sister. Xiaoai wanted to screen the computer and put it on his face. Well, I'm going to cook. Mingmei left the room in a panic. Fuck, I'll go over and help. Little Izumi Yuhiko stood up and said. Stop and come back, you go to help. What are you helping? Can you help? Don't go over there to cause trouble. Chen pulled the little Izumi Yuhiko and said. Don't look down on me, do you think I can't cook? Little Izumi Yuhiko said unhappily. Yes, I really think so. I'm afraid you will make something strange. Chen nodded. A witch can cook, what kind of joke is this? HMPH, it's an eye-opener for you. Little Izumi Yuhiko's distrust of Chen also raised her dissatisfaction, and she opened the door and insisted on going to the kitchen to help. But she didn't want to make any weird things. What if she eats dead people? After a while, let Yuchizi try the poison first. Chen's face showed an unscrupulous smile. Seeing the smile on Chen's face, Xiaoai shuddered, then turned around immediately, and continued to study the antidote of APTX 4869. Now she has some clues. LTTM_. Chapter 814. Go skiing. Try the soup I made. At the dinner table, little Izumi Yuhiko pointed to a pot of blue soup. Chen, Belmont and others didn't move. Blue soup, who can cook such a strange soup, especially with a strange smell? Yuchizi, this is Yuhizi's specialty. You must have never tasted it. The taste is very good. You can try it, Chen said to Yuchizi. The corners of Yuchizi's mouth twitched, and she asked blankly, do you think I'm that stupid? I really thought of her as an idiot. This soup is unbearable and extremely poisonous. If you drink it, you may die. Would you like to taste it yourself? Chen looked at Yuhiko and said, HMPH, don't believe me. Little Izumi Yuhiko snorted coldly, then filled herself a bowl and drank it directly. Are you alright? Chen looked at the little Izumi Yuhiko seriously. If she really died from drinking the soup she made, it would be really sad, but it's okay to die. Outsider Rinne Tensai, Samsara of heavenly life, can resurrect her. Of course I'm fine. Little Izumi Yuhiko gave Chen an angry look. It seems that this soup is really drinkable, but I don't know how it tastes. Chen Sheng took a bowl of this strange soup and tasted it. How is it? Sato Mawako asked Chen. Well, it's not bad. It's unexpectedly delicious. Chen was very surprised. This strange soup like poison actually tasted good. Really? Are you lying to us? Xiao Ai's eyes were filled with suspicion. Is it interesting to lie to you? It tastes really good. Kanchan doesn't look like a liar. They also tasted it suspiciously. The taste is indeed very good, but the appearance of this dark dish is a bit scary. But how did you make such a strange color? Chen is really curious. What exactly is this? How did you make it? And it's really a talent to actually be able to burn the soup into a weird blue color. Little Izumi Yuhiko coughed lightly, and then said, this is a secret, you can't tell others, so as not to be stolen for a long time. Ding ling ling up Tak Chen took out her mobile phone. It was Xiaolin's call. Xiaolin, what's the matter? Chen asked Xiaolin and said, Chen, do you have time? Let's go skiing. Skiing. Okay. Xiaolin's invitation, of course I'm going. Chen said with a smile. Xiaolin's phone number. Yuchizi was stunned for a moment. Waikong Shen, I heard a woman's voice over there, who is it? Xiaolin asked, with a hint of vinegar in her tone. It's me Xiaolin, you have sister Kiko. Yukiko suddenly grabbed the phone from Chen's hand and said, 70,504,040,376 inches anti-Yuchizi. 38E7. Xiaolin, I've told you many times that you want to call me Sister Yuchizi. Yuchizi said in a dark voice. Although it was across the phone, Xiaolin was still taken aback. Her body was extremely stiff, as if she was being stared at by a terrifying giant beast. Ah ha ha, I see, Sister Yukiko. Xiaolin snorted and said that Yukiko nodded in satisfaction, and the terrifying expression on her face disappeared. I like women who pretend to be tender. Xiao Ai said with a venomous tongue. Yukiko's face froze, and the terrifying moonlight looked towards Xiao Ai, but after seeing that it was Xiao Ai, Yukiko decided not to care about her. Xiao Ran, you are going to go skiing, right? Can you bring my sister and me? Is there any problem with Sister Yukiko? Xiaolin didn't refuse Yukiko. Great. My favorite is skiing. Yukiko seemed very happy. After chatting for a while and hanging up, Chen looked at the other women and asked, are you interested in going skiing together? Chen looked at Xiao Ai, who shook her head. Let's go, follow me. Chen disregarded Xiao Ai's refusal, and hugged Xiao Ai with the strength of Xiao Ai. Can't resist at all can only give Chen a Byakugan too. Others were not interested, so Chen hugged Xiao Ai, got into the car with Yukiko, and went to the Maori detective office. When she came to the Mori detective agency, Xiaolin ran over excitedly, followed by Mori Kogoro and Conan. Chen, I'm so sorry. Dad and Conan are going too. It's okay. Xiao Ai, how are you? Xiao Lan smiled at Xiao Ai. Yeah, although Xiao Ai was cold, Xiao Lan didn't care. Kid Chen, let me drive. Mori Kogoro rubbed his hands and said that Chen naturally had no objection. He didn't want to drive yet, so he sat behind with Xiaolin, Yuchizi and Xiao Ai, while Conan remained unchanged. Sitting in the co-pilot, seeing Xiaolin and Chen sitting together. Of course he was upset. But it was useless to be upset, and Chen was still carried to the co-pilot position. Why is Mom here? Why is she still with Hyuga Chen? Conan frowned. Conan had already told Yukiko in the previous call. Tell her to stay away from Hyuga Chen. Why didn't she listen? Conan has a headache and his classmate Haibara I don't know. Why? Conan always felt that there was something wrong with Haibara it didn't look like a child at all. A Conan kid, fasten your seatbelt. Mori Kogoro knocked on Conan and said, Akiko. You are still in Tokyo. I thought you had already returned to America. Mori Kogoro said, I think it's very good here. Mori Kogoro doesn't understand. It will definitely be better in the United States than here, but Mori Kogoro doesn't care too much. By the way, Conan looks like Shin, child. Yukiko said. After Yukiko finished speaking, Conan's heart tightened, and a few drops of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Well, I'm a distant relative of Dr. Ailey. Conan said quickly. It turns out that you are a distant relative of Dr. Ailey, but I haven't heard of it. What kind of distant relative, Wang Nujiao, does a Li Boshi have? Yuchizi greeted her with doubts on her face. I've never heard of Dr. Ailey's relationship. But did they have distant relatives? Yuchizi didn't know, and didn't pursue them. Seeing that Yukiko didn't continue talking, Conan breathed a sigh of relief, but in the rearview mirror, seeing Chen sitting in the back with an inexplicable smile on his face, Conan's heart suddenly raised again. Shouldn't he find something? It's not impossible. He didn't dare to underestimate Hyuga Chen. Mori Kogoro drove the car. Under the guidance of the navigation, he came to the ski resort. This ski resort is quite far. Let's find a hotel first. It's getting dark. Let's go skiing tomorrow. Chen said as he got out of the car. There seems to be only one hotel around here. Xiao Lancha said. Then go to that hotel. Chen said lightly, this time with Conan in one. I don't know if there will be an accident. 875th chapter. Are you jealous? Snowy night. On the high snow-capped mountain, a woman with black hair in white stands on the top of the mountain. Even if my body disappears, my soul will be resurrected at the same time as Bai Shui. After speaking, the woman jumped off the cliff. Zhang entered the lake. Ha! This acting is too realistic. Kogoro Mori said, dragging his chin. That's right, it's just the latest TV show. In the episode of Snow Maiden's Love, the heroine's acting skills are very strong and Yukiko nodded. Her acting skills are indeed very good, but they are still far behind her, Yukiko thought without modesty. Squeak tilde. Hearing the sound, Chen and the others thought to look behind, only to see a doll coming over with a bowl of tea. What is this? It's just a puppet doll, come. Please drink tea, said the shop owner and the proprietress who came over. It turned out to be a puppet doll. It's not bad. Chen looked at the puppet doll and smiled. He wasn't surprised either. In the Hokage world, what kind of puppet had never been seen before? This little doll couldn't arouse his surprise at all. The puppet doll has wheels one installed under its feet and can run by itself, and the speed is quite fast. It's a very rare doll. Xiao Ai, don't you think so? Yuchizi asked Xiao Ai. I don't think it's strange at all. Xiao Ai didn't even look at the doll. 133 Did you just watch Snow Girl? The lady boss asked. Yeah, I'm very famous recently, but to be honest, I feel so scared. Xiaolin had a little sweat on her forehead. But in this world, there really isn't any snow maiden. Conan said. Conan. Don't say so. Absolutely, maybe there is no snow maiden in this world, but maybe there are snow maidens in other worlds. There was a smile on Chen's face. What are you trying to say about parallel worlds? Sorry, I don't believe in the existence of parallel worlds. Conan said with a grin. So, people always regard ignorance as the truth. Xiao Ai said with a venomous tongue. Damn, Conan was very angry. After a bit of anger, Conan calmed down. Why did he compete with the two little girls? We are here, since a long time ago. It has been famous for the snow maiden nearby. Maybe the snow maiden will appear tonight. The expression of the proprietress was very frightening, and Xiaolan hurriedly approached Chen, Zilly in fright. As the boss there, a woman's voice came from outside. Two women came to the hotel with a row of Li. Yoko, are we really going to live in this place? Where is this hotel? 3_, one of the women, Akiko Kinoshita BGD_D, asked Yoko. But other than this place, there is no other place to live. Now the bus is leaving again. Yoko said to Akiko. Hello. Welcome. The boss and the proprietress went out. Hello boss. I have called you a few days ago and made an appointment with you. I know, you are Miss Akiko Kinoshita and Miss Yoko Asanuma, right? It's not easy for you to travel so far here, I'm just counting. You are almost there, the boss said with a smile. In the room, Mori Kogoro's ears moved. Hey, did you hear that the boss said that Miss Akiko Kinoshita is here? Huh, I didn't pay attention. Xiaolan shook her head. No, I want to go out and have a look. Mori Kogoro immediately stood up and walked out to stand. Boss, what are you talking about just now? Is Akiko Kinoshita here? And Yoko Asanuma and the other two LIs lit up immediately. Wow, it's me, I was on TV just now, watching the TV series about the love of the snow maiden you played. Kogoro Maori said exaggeratedly. At this time, they also came out. Seeing these two women, Chen's moonlight was somewhat grassy. What? Did you like them? Xiao Ai stepped on Chen and asked unhappily. Xiao Ai, are you jealous? Chen squatted down and asked Xiao Ai's head. HMPH. Xiao Ai Tsunere snorted. Actually, I think the two of them are going to be unlucky this time, maybe one of them will die. Chen said to Xiao Ai. In the case of their accommodation, two more women came. This is not a good sign. Conan, the god of death, and Mori Kogoro, the god of plague, are here. Xiao Ai's number one, she doesn't know what Chen means, but after a while, she should know and, it's really Miss Akiko Kinoshita. The snow girl we watched before is the one who starred in her. Xiaolan's expression also changed. A little excited, he said to Chen. After seeing Taeyang, it is normal to be excited. No wonder that proprietress. She would say that Snow Maiden might appear tonight, but it seems that she did. Chen said lightly, hello, introduction 1. Next, my name is Kogoro Mori, and I'm a famous detective. You are at the end. The scene of jumping into the lake, is really well done. Maori Kogoro shouted. Actually, it wasn't me who jumped into the lake, but Yoko. Akiko Kinoshita pointed to Yoko Asanuma next to her. Hello, I'm a stuntman. Right. Kogoro Mori looked at Yoko Asanuma and said, Yoko, she is my own stuntman, in other words, she is also my shadow. Kinoshita Akiko said. After she said this, Chen glanced at Kinoshita Akiko, and it was already certain that she was probably the one who was killed this time. The murderer should be Asanuma Yokoi. No one likes to be someone else's shadow. Especially speaking in front of Yoko Asanuma, this is a very hurtful behavior. Yukiko frowned slightly. She used to be a star, and she was very upset with this kind of person. Others did dangerous things for you, but you are like this, it's too conscienceless to speak. After she said this, Yoko Asanuma's expression became obviously gloomy. By the way, where is the bathroom? Akiko Kinoshita said. Ah, the bathroom, you go down the corridor. At the end, it's on the left, Yoko Asanuma said. Akiko Kinoshita walked to the bathroom. Yoko Asanuma asked, can we live in a room with a persimmon tree? Okay, as long as you like. The owner of the shop naturally has no opinion. Chen is even more certain. This woman is likely to become a murderer, and she knows a lot about this place, including the location of the bathroom. I also know that there is a room with a persimmon tree here. Conan is also very strange, but Conan didn't think much about it, just a little doubt in his heart. Xiao Ai also felt that this woman understood too well, but Xiao Ai didn't care about it. Let's go to rest, Chen said to Xiaolin. They rented 2 rooms, one room for Chen and Xiaolin, Yukiko and Xiao Ai, and one room for Mori Kogoro and Conan. Although Conan was upset, he didn't seem to have the right to speak. Guro didn't say anything. On the one hand, he likes Chen more, and if he can become his son-in-law, Kogoro Mori doesn't object, plus there is a little girl like Xiao Ai and Yukiko, they will definitely not do anything out of the ordinary thing, so there is no 876 chapter. The Legend of Snow Maiden Murder Case Part 1. Don't worry, if you want to do anything, I won't disturb you. Xiao Ai said to Chen and Xiaolan that a Yuchizi went to the bathroom, and now there are Chen, Xiaolan and Xiao Ai in the room. 3 people. Xiaolan's face suddenly turned to Yuhi, and she said angrily, Xiao Ai, what are you talking about? Yes, full of unhealthy thoughts. You must know that you are a child. Chen raised his hand. knocked on Xiao Ai's head. Xiao Ai was quite upset. -8 eyes glared at Chen, as if still. The first time. Someone knocked her on the head, and of course Xiao Ai's heart didn't change. Why, looking at your angry appearance, aren't you convinced? Chen Liang raised his fists and looked at Xiao Ai threateningly. Xiao Ai glared at him angrily. How could this person be so shameless? Actually bullying the child. Well, now Xiao Ai actually treats Z2 as a little child. Chen, don't bully Xiao Ai. Xiaolan stretched out her hand and put Xiao Ai in her arms, and said to Chen dissatisfiedly, Xiao Ai's cold appearance is very pitiful, Sister Xiaolan. Xiao Ai raised her head with tears in her eyes. She looked at Xiaolan with sweat and tears, looking aggrieved. Look at you, it made Xiao Ai cry. Xiaolan said to Chen angrily. Chen looked at Xiao Ai, who gave him a smug look in the dark, and suddenly wanted to hit someone. Sure enough, women are all acting, including the cold Xiao Ai. Okay, let's rest. Chen was lying on the tatami, and said to Xiaolan because she had already shared the bed with Chen. So Xiaolan didn't hurt much. She hugged Xiao Ai and lay beside Chen. Xiao Ai looked at Xiaolan's natural appearance. The brows frowned slightly. Aren't the two of them? This is the first time I slept together. How can it be so natural? Thinking of this, Xiao Ai felt a little uncomfortable, so she raised her little foot and kicked Chen secretly. Chen is stunned. Good guy, you dare to kick me, I won't take care of you now. I will save you some face, and I will show you this little Queen Tsunere when no one is there. Moonlight, who sensed Tatsu's threat. Xiao Ai stared back without showing weakness. The door was opened. Yuchizi walked in from outside, looked at Chen and Xiaolan lying down, and asked, Are you resting now? Yes. Ah, why don't you rest now? Don't you want to go skiing tomorrow? But it's time to sleep now. Is it a little too early? Yukiko said depressedly. Originally she wanted to play the second session. If you think it's early, you can watch TV, remember Shizune, don't disturb us. Chen said to Yuchizi. Yuchizi was speechless. Does Shizune watch pantomime? Yuchizi is not interested. Then, speaking of which, Chen and Xiaolan, are you two too close? Yuchizi's eyes narrowed. That. Xiaolan immediately moved to the side. Just now there was only Xiao Ai, and Xiaolan still felt nothing, but now that Shizi is back, Xiaolan felt shy. It's so cold today, so you can get warm when you get close. What? Chen moved to Xiaolan's side again, and approached Xiaolan again. Xiaolan's face was flushed, and she didn't move. Xiao Ai glanced at Chen. This person is so shameless. Xiao Ai kicked Chen again. Pushed him with his hand. It was still an inch. Chen hugged Xiao Ai, rubbed her face. Xiao Ai opened her mouth, and took a bite towards Chen. You are too much, and you still care about children, really. Yuchizi looked at Chen and Xiao Ai. Not only was she speechless. Chen suddenly stood up and slapped Yuchizi's buttocks. Yuhiko's face immediately became Yuhi, and Xiaolan, who was lying next to him, couldn't help it. Yuhi in the face. It's too rascal to actually hit a woman. What are you doing? Yukiko pointed at Chen angrily. I said you are an old aunt. What are you doing with me? I'm still in high school. Chen said shamelessly. Old aunt. Yuchizi's body was petrified, and she actually said that she was an old aunt. After a night of rest. It was sunny the next morning, and it snowed last night. Let's go skiing, today is a good day. Xiaolan was quite excited. Xiao Ai, why are you showing no interest? Xiaolan looked at Xiao Ai strangely. Ordinary children would definitely be very excited when they heard about going skiing. I don't like skiing, Xiao Ai said. I don't think you know Xiao Ai. Chen looked at Xiao Ai and said, letting Chen guess right, Xiao Ai really doesn't know how to ski. Xiao Ai doesn't know, I can teach you. Xiaolan squatted down and said to Xiao Ai. Flowers.10 equals pedestrians wrapped tightly. Go out with the skis and prepare to head up the mountain. At this time, two women, Akiko and Yoko, came out. Yes, we'll go back tomorrow evening for a full body massage and facial. I'll trouble you all, so I'll tell you first. Akiko said on the phone. Akiko, don't forget. Yoko handed a hood to Akiko. Oh, that's right. Akiko immediately took the hood. Then put it on, the kind of headgear that only shows 2 eyes, and then put on the goggles. It looks like a robbery from Silver. Dressing up is too exaggerated. Miss Akiko, Miss Yoko, you two are too exaggerated. Shaolin couldn't help but said, yeah, this is really like a robber who robbed Silver. After chatting for a while, they went out, start to go skiing in the mountains. Chen, do you know how to ski? Although I haven't skied before, it doesn't mean I can't, and I'm still a master. Chen said with a smile. Skiing in the area, Chen believes that he can become a master in an instant. Mori Kogoro is on his skis. Cowardly, she didn't dare to move at all. Dad, aren't you afraid? Shaolin asked Mori Kogoro. Afraid? How is it possible that I'm not afraid at all? Even if he was afraid, in front of his daughter, Kogoro Mori couldn't say he was afraid. Go equals bite Kiba. Kogoro slipped out, and banged and hit on a tree. People want to cover their eyes when they see it. Xiao Ai, don't worry. I won't let you fall. Chen said to the hesitant Xiao Ai, hey, it's Miss Akiko and Miss Yoko, they seem to be sliding in the woods over there. Xiaolan watched the 2 tightly wrapped men slide into the forest over there. Chen glanced over there. It seems that they can only live one of them today, and one of them will definitely die in the forest. But this has nothing to do with Chen. Chen didn't want to bother about that business. Why did he kill? What was the motive for the murder? Chen didn't play here for a day at all. In the evening, snowflakes fell in the sky again, and it was definitely impossible to continue skiing when it snowed. Chen and the others also returned to the hotel. 877th chapter. The Legend of Snow Maiden Murder Case. Middle. The weather really changes. It snowed suddenly, Xiaolan said, looking at the falling snow outside the window. Yeah, I haven't had enough yet, but it's snowing, I'm really upset. Yukiko said angrily, and, it's getting dark, even if it doesn't snow, I can't continue playing. Chen said. Suddenly the door was opened, and Yoko Asanuma came back in a pink ski suit with her snowboard in her hand, and she was the only one who came back. Oh, Miss Yoko is back. Where is Miss Akiko? Oh, Akiko said she wants to continue skiing for a while. I want to continue skiing. It's snowing so much outside, isn't it dangerous? Shaolin, he asked suspiciously. Shaolan, what do you know? This is Miss Akiko's energetic. Isn't that Miss Yoko? Maori Xiaowu, Zero Sanwu. Lang suddenly turned into a dog licking. Shaolin looked at her father speechlessly. She really didn't know what to say. I probably already understand why Feiyingri wants to separate from him. Yuchizi said involuntarily. Actually, Akiko's health is not very good. Look back. See you. Yoko greeted and returned to the room. Miss Mingzi is not in good health. I don't know what's wrong. Shaolin said softly. Yeah, it's really worrying. I feel bad when I think of Miss Akiko's health. Mori Kogoro covered his heart with a worried look. Enough is enough. Yukiko gave Mori Kogoro a look of contempt, then dragged Shaolin back to the room. Sure enough, it's still warm in the room. Yukiko took off her jacket, showing off her slender figure. If you come at this time, a cup of hot tea will be fine. Chen said while supporting the table with his hands. Hey, the hot tea you want. Xiao Ai suddenly held a cup of hot tea in front of Chen, which made Chen feel very puzzled. Did you put medicine in here? Do ent drink it, Xiao Ai snorted angrily, then brought the tea in front of her, turning her head to ignore Chen. I'm back, does Yoko come back? Then Xia Mingzi passed by Chen's door and asked, well, she just came back. Cough cough tilde. Akiko covered her mouth and coughed twice. And then walked towards his room. Miss Akiko seems to have caught a cold. Shaolin looked at the taller Miss Akiko and smiled lightly. Is this really Akiko Kinoshita? Even though she was wearing Akiko Kinoshida's ski suit, Chen knew that he was Yoko Asanuma. It seems that Akiko Kinoshita is really dead, but this has nothing to do with Chen, although Akiko looks good under the surgery. However, Chen has no feeling for Akiko Kinoshita. After eating, Asakusa Yoko brought the plate over. I am full, thank you for your hospitality. Miss Yoko, I heard that Miss Akiko was coughing all the time, is there any problem now? Xiaolin asked Yoko. Oh, Mingzi is much better. By the way, the proprietress, can I take a bath? This place is already covered by you, of course. The proprietress nodded and said. Well then, Xiaolin, you should wait until after 8 o'clock. Soon after, Yoko came to Mori Kogoro's room suddenly. Xiaolin looked at Conan in a daze, and asked Conan, why did Miss Yoko come here? When I was in the bath before. Miss Yoko invited Uncle Maori to drink. Drink, and I have to drink at night. Xiaolan was suddenly dissatisfied. She had already drank during the meal, and now she has to drink, which is really worrying. Let's go and have a look. Xiaolin walked into the room angrily, but there was nothing she could do when she saw Yoko Asanuma and Kogoro Mori had already started drinking. Sir, let's have a drink together. Yoko looked at Chen with a smile and said, yes, boy Chen, come and have a drink with me. Kogoro Mori said while drinking. He knew that Xiaolin might have to teach him a lesson afterwards, so Mori Kogoro wanted to pull Chen up, so that Xiaolin might not reprimand him. Okay, go. Chen walked over and sat down. Aunt Yuchizi. Do you want to drink? Chen asked Yuchizi. Yukiko heard the word auntie. Immediately biting Kiba and gnashing his teeth. I can't wait to bite Chen equals 0. I want to drink, fill it up for me. After drinking for a while, the bottle of wine was soon gone, and Kogoro Mori was about to ask Xiaolin to go to the boss to get the wine, when Yoko suddenly said, I still have wine in my room. There's a bottle of whiskey, I'll go get it. Yoko came back after a while with no wine in her hand. Well, I put the wine at the bottom of the Lee box. Mingzi said that after a while, he gave her a surprised look. Don't you think this statement is full of loopholes? Is it really possible to deliver wine? After a while, there was a voice outside, and Yoko said immediately. Maybe Akiko has already come. Really? Then I'll go out and have a look. Mori Kogoro stood up, opened the door and looked outside, but there was no one outside. Strange, no one, maybe Miss Akiko hasn't come yet. Mori Kogoro sat down and said. Just a moment later, there was another movement outside. Yoko Asanuma immediately stood up. I think this time it should be here, I'll go out. Asanuma Yoko opened the door. Akiko, I'm really bothering you this time. Yoko took the wine. Then he walked into the room. Miss Yoko, don't you ask Miss Akiko to come in. Chen suddenly said. Yoko froze when she heard the words, and said with a smile, that Akiko has a cold and is not feeling well. Chen smiled lightly and didn't say anything. In fact, there was no one outside at all. This wine should have been sent by the puppet doll unique to this hotel. After drinking for a while, it was over, and Kogoro Mori sent Yoko out. After Yoko left, Kogoro Mori saw the puppet doll at the end of the corridor. It's strange, I didn't see this doll before, did I see it wrong? Kogoro Mori patted his head. You must be drinking too much. 2.7 hurry up and rest. Xiaolin said to Mori Kogoro, and drank so much wine again. Xiaolin was very angry. Chen and the others walked to their room. Yuchizi was drunk and her eyes were blurry. What else to drink? Chen said, supporting Yuchizi. I want to continue drinking, I want to drink. Yuchizi waved her hand and said. Take Yuchizi back to the room. Xiaolin went to take a bath. Xiaoai did not go with her, but stared at Chen. What are you looking at me for? Chen saw Xiaoai staring at him all the time. Yourself, not only a little weird but, prevents you from doing something. For example, when some people are drunk, do something with others, and take advantage of people's danger. Xiaoai said seriously. Chen felt very sad. Do I have this image in Xiaoai's heart? 878th chapter. The Legend of Snow Maiden Murder Case, Part 2, I want to drink water. Yukiko said with a smell of alcohol. Drinking water. Forget it, I'll pour you some water. Chen took the teacup next to him and poured a glass of water for Yuchizi. Be careful not to drink. Chen said to Yuchizi. Do you think I'm an idiot? I won't. Yukiko said drunkenly. Soon after, Xiaolin suddenly ran back in a panic. Xiaolan, didn't you take a bath? Why did you come back so quickly? Chen asked while looking at Xiaolan. She was so panicked after running back, Could it be that something happened? Chen, I saw Snow Maiden. Xiaolan said in fear. While taking a bath, she thought about looking out the window and saw a walking white shadow on the distant mountain. After Xiaolan saw it, frightened, he immediately put on his clothes and ran back. Now the little dirty is still thumping. How could there be a Snow Maiden? And it's night, so I can't see clearly when I look outside. Xiaoai opened the curtains and looked outside. However, it may be because 16 is snowy outside, it doesn't look so dark, and you can see the image, but you can't see it clearly. I can see it clearly, I can't read it wrong. Could it be that there really is a Snow Maiden? Xiaolin is very sure that she has seen it clearly. Mr. Maoli, Mr. Chen, it's not good, Mingzi is not good. Asanuma Yoko suddenly ran over with a letter. Mori Kogoro, who was a little drunk, opened the door, but L, who was going to sleep, was woken up. What happened to Miss Akiko? Kogoro Mori asked with concern. When Chen heard the sound in the corridor, she also opened the door and walked out. Xiaolin followed behind Chen, thinking of the Snow Maiden she saw before. Xiaolin was still scared in her heart. Please take a look at this. This is the suicide note left by Akiko. Yoko Asanuma took the letter and handed it to Kogoro Mori. Suicide note. Maori Kogoro took it, feeling a little bad in his heart. After I returned to the room, I didn't see her. I looked around, but I didn't find her. Later, I carefully observed the room and found this. Kogoro Mori looked at the so-called suicide note and endured kept talking. It turns out that Miss Akiko has pneumonia. I don't know that either. Usually, I just think that she coughs a little bit badly, and she herself is quite worried. Said above, she has the same disease as her father. Mori Kogoro looked at the suicide note and said, I heard that Akiko's father died because of pneumonia. Yoko said, maybe she has realized since too. This phenomenon is called inflammation allergy. Does she want to end her life like Shueyan? Shouldn't it be Miss Akiko? Xiaolin said hurriedly. Xiaolin, did you see Snow Maiden? Maori Kogoro asked Xiaolin. Well, I did see one. I think it should be Miss Akiko. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and find it. Mori Kogoro rushed out immediately. Xiao ran, go back and take care of the drunk Yukiko, I'll look for it. Chen said to Xiaolin, don't you need me to help? No, it's not necessary anymore, is it? Chen suddenly looked at Yoko Asanuma, which made Yoko Asanuma startled. What do you mean? Why did he look at me? Could it be that something was discovered? No, she has never revealed any flaws in her office. Find and then. The next morning, I called the police. After I called the police, because of the unusual identity of Ben Xiaomingzi, I tried my best to search and finally found Ben Xiaomingzi. Of course, what was found was only a corpse in a white kimono buried in ice and snow. Conan looked at the corpse thoughtfully, his hair pressed into the kimono. This is for suicidal corpses. It's very unreasonable. I didn't expect Miss Akiko to have committed suicide, alas. Xiaolin sighed. And Yukiko is the most confused. What happened? Obviously just fell asleep. Someone died the next day. Akiko. There were tears in Yoko Asanuma's eyes. Don't pretend. If I'm not mistaken, Miss Akiko didn't kill herself, but Miss Yoko. Chen said lightly. Yoko Asanuma's hand trembled, then stood up angrily, turned around and said, my relationship with Akiko is so good. How could I kill her? Or are you jealous of her and want to kill her? Where's the evidence? What evidence? Yoko Asanuma asked in a panic. First of all, Akiko Kinoshita didn't commit suicide last night. He was already dead before, otherwise he would not have been buried so deeply by the ice and snow. It started to snow from the evening, but by 10 o'clock in the evening, the snow stopped slowly. If you commit suicide at night, the snow could never bury Akiko Kinoshita that deep. Chen boy, I don't believe that Miss Yoko will kill. Didn't we meet Miss Akiko last night? Really? Then who has seen her appearance? After she came back, she was wrapped so tightly, and she didn't show up. After Chen said this, they did sound, and they didn't really see Akiko at all. When we were drinking last night, Akiko brought us wine. Asanuma Yoko retorted. Yes, if Akiko is already dead, who is the one who brought the wine? Don't forget, there is a puppet doll 893 in this hotel. It can be used to deliver wine instead, and since it was sent by Miss Akiko Wine, are there her fingerprints on the wine bottle? Boom tilde. Yoko Asanuma felt a sledgehammer and slammed it on her head, causing her consciousness to be confused, and she actually forgot about it. I admit, I killed Akiko. Asanuma. Yoko lowered her head and said. Why? Shaolin couldn't help asking. I debuted with Akiko, but she is better than me. And I can only be chosen as her stuntman. Equals have always been like her shadow. Everyone sees me like this, so she won't die and I'll never die. Yoko Asanuma knelt down and said. Shaoran was silent. I didn't expect Naoshang to be so cruel. In order to have a chance to get ahead, she could kill. The pure and kind Shaoran couldn't accept it. Prosecuted for intentional homicide, it is estimated that there is no chance to get out of prison. It's really a little embarrassing to send a beautiful woman to prison. In fact, if she doesn't take the initiative to plead guilty. There's really no hard evidence. Chen said lightly. Although Yoko Asanuma did it very clearly, there was no evidence left behind. As for the fact that Akiko's fingerprints were not on the wine bottle, it was easy to perfunctory. But her psychological quality was not good, so she confessed the guilt immediately. 819 chapters. Conan's advice. Do you still want to ski? Chen asked Shaolin and the others. Let's go back. Shaolin shook her head. The murder happened. Shaolin doesn't want to continue skiing anymore. Then go back. Chen also had no opinion. After sending Mori Kogoro and the others back, Chen took Yukiko and Xiaoai home. I wasn't happy at all when I came out to play this time. It's over before I even started playing. Yukiko said with a pouted mouth. Then how many days do you have to play to be happy? Chen asked while driving. Soon after returning home, Yukiko's cell phone suddenly rang. When she took it out, it turned out to be a call from Shinichi, and Yukiko was stunned for a moment, but her son actually called her 3 inches HMPH, no answer. Yukiko hung up suddenly in a fit of anger. Thinking of how many times he didn't answer the phone when he called him, he either turned it off or hung up, and Yuchizi got angry, so she just hung up and said, Damn, what the hell is mom doing, why don't you answer the phone? Quote. Conan looked unhappy. Was actually actively hung up the phone. Call Yukiko again. Conan has something very important to say to Yukiko. However, after the phone rang twice, he was hung up again, and Yukiko hung up his phone again, making Conan full of resentment. With resentment, Conan dialed 1 again. This time Arikiko finally got through. Mom, why don't you answer my call? Conan asked angrily in Kudo Shinichi's voice. HMPH, you don't answer my calls, and what do you call me? Yuchizi asked with a cold snort. Sister Yuchizi. Conan said helplessly. He was already in his 30s, yet he still pretended to be tender. Conan was very contemptuous. Fortunately, Yukiko didn't know what Conan was thinking, otherwise Conan's head would be absolutely guaranteed to bloom. Tell me, you have something to do with me. I don't believe you will call me when you are fine. Yukiko said. When it's okay. Yukiko felt that Shinji would never call him, and Yukiko knew Shinichi very well. Know him too well. Is there something very important? Do you have anyone else by your side now? Conan became serious. No, if you have anything, just say it. Isn't it still a secret thing? Mom, why are you with Hyuga-chen? Hearing Shin, he called him Mom. Yuchizi feels unhappy. She really doesn't have a long memory up tack. I must teach him a good lesson another day. What are you doing with such a famous business? I think you should come back sooner. Shaolin is very worried about you, you know. 60 Conan was silent when he heard the words. Conan really dare not let others know. 5716 now knows his new identity. Only Dr. Akasa and Hattori Heiji. Even his father, Yasaka Kudo. Conan didn't tell. Stop talking about that. Mom, remember, stay away from Hyuga-chen, he's not a good person. Conan said to Yukiko. Shinichi, even though you are rivals in love, you don't need to belittle others like that. Yukiko frowned slightly. Listen to me, I won't lie to you. He is really not a good person. You'd better stay away from him, otherwise there will be danger. Conan said anxiously. The person who can make the organization in black. People who all kneel and beg for mercy are definitely more dangerous than that black-clothed organization, and their mother doesn't know anything. Okay, if nothing happens, then I'll hang up. Yukiko looked impatient. No, don't hang up first. I haven't finished speaking yet, Conan said immediately. What else do you need to tell me? I don't have time to chat with you. Mom, are you still living at home now? Conan asked, and if there was Kiko still living at home, that Conan must find a way to get her out of the house, which is very dangerous, facing the terrifying and mysterious organization. No, I don't live at home anymore. Oh, that's fine. Conan breathed a sigh of relief, as long as he didn't live at home. I'm staying at Chen's house for the time being. What? You're staying at that guy's house? Conan shouted loudly. Stinky boy. Your voice is too loud. Deafened. Mom, listen to me quickly and leave Hugo-chan's house. I'm afraid you are in danger. Conan shouted anxiously. Unexpectedly, Yukiko had just left Langao and was sent to the tiger's mouth again. Conan felt that it was better to be safe at home, and felt that it was more dangerous to live in Hugo-chan's place. Don't worry about me. I think you should take care of yourself. I've been here for so long, and I haven't seen you alone. Yuchizi said angrily and said, also, have you contacted Shaolin? Asked Yukiko. Conan heard nothing. He never contacted Shaolin, because he felt that he was by Shaolin's side, and there was no need to contact him on purpose. Needless to say, I know you have no contact. I think you don't need to contact Shaolin. Yuchizi said unhappily. Although her stupid son has a fast brain, no one can match him when solving a case, but his emotional intelligence has already fed the dog. When going out, Yuchizi asked Shaolin. She guessed that it should be impossible for Yi and Shaolin. It can only be said that they are destined to have no part in it. Yuchizi doesn't want to ask more and, don't talk about this, Mom, you must leave Hugo-chan's place. Conan continued to persuade Yukiko. You can take care of yourself now, and it's not your child's turn to take care of my business. I am no longer a child, I am doing this for your own good. Conan is so angry that it doesn't make sense. As long as you're not angry with me, it's all ready for me. Yukiko said angrily. After that, Yukiko hung up the phone, and Conan was helpless. I'm so pissed off. Conan angrily punched the wall next to him and felt his hand hurt. It's over. No, Hugo-chan must not hurt her mother. It seems she wants to call her father. Let him come back. Conan's helpless smile. At this time, he can only call out Kudo Yasaka, and I don't know what conflict they have had. Now his mother hasn't gone back, and his father has not come to look for it. Conan pressed Kudo Yasaka's advice. Call Kudo Yasaka. Soon the call was connected. Shinichi, why are you calling me? What's the matter? But I rarely talk to him, even though, at the end of the year, it's good to be able to call twice. Dad, did you know that Mom has returned to Japan? Conan asked in a very unhappy manner. You are for this matter, then don't worry about it. Kudo Yasaka hung up after finishing speaking. Conan looked shocked. Kudo Yasaka also hung up his phone, really angry to death. 880 chapter. It was a pervert lolicon. Conan, holding a mobile phone, stood at the intersection for a while, and then called Kudo Yasaka again. Shinichi, I'm very busy now, I have to submit the manuscript, and now I have to drive the manuscript out, please don't interrupt my train of thought. Kudo Yasaka said, Dad, I tell you, now my mother is very dangerous, do you know? Conan said angrily. Dangerous? Kudo Yasaka was stunned for a moment, then said, what danger could she have? Could it be that you caused trouble? Conan was speechless. But Yasaka Kudo's guess was right. He did cause trouble, and caused trouble to the organization in black. Isn't he causing trouble? Dad, you'd better come back and take your mother away. Conan didn't say anything about the black organization. Kudo Yasaka frowned. He is a smart man. Now listening to Conan's tone, there are already hundreds of people. 8 out of 10 is sure that Conan has caused trouble, and it is definitely something that Conan can't solve. Tell me, have you offended some major force? Yasaka Kudo asked seriously. No, I didn't offend anyone. Conan said stubbornly. He was not going to tell his father Yasaka Fuji. The more people know, the more dangerous it is, not to mention Conan's character is like this. I like to solve things by myself. Otherwise, he would have told Yasaka Kudo long ago. Don't talk about it, but let's talk about it first. What's the matter with Yukiko being in danger? Kudo Yasaka was silent for a while before continuing to ask. It's like this. Mom suddenly lives in a very dangerous guy's house. I am worried that she will be hurt. Conan said roughly. To Conan, Chen is a very dangerous guy. More dangerous than the Black Organization. Okay, leave it alone for now. I'll take care of it. By the way, give me that person's name and I'll investigate. Yasaka Kudo said. That person's name is Hyuga Chen. Maybe a mysterious organization was chosen. Conan said to Kudo Yasaka, mysterious organization. After hearing this, Kudo Yasaka's eyes flashed, and he hung up the phone. Conan hung up the phone and went home. Conan, what are you doing? You have to eat, do you know that? Shaolin said to Conan who came back and, sorry, Sister Shaolin, I just went to a Liboshi's house. Conan lied. Yukiko, Kudo Shinichi called you before. Right, Chen said to Yukiko. Chun, how do you know? Are you eavesdropping on my phone? Shoshizi glared at Chen angrily. 6 inches I didn't eavesdrop, but my ears were too good to hear. There's nothing I can do about it. Chen spread his hands helplessly. I think I heard your son say I'm not a good person. Tisk tisk, this deeply stimulates my fragile little heart. Che, I also think you are not a good thing. Yukiko glanced at Chen and said. No, I'm actually a good person. Chen said lightly, yes, but only a ghost would believe what you said. Said Belmod. No ghost would believe it. Xiao Ai said with a venomous tongue. So if it's not a ghost, you will believe it. Isn't that right, Xiao Ai? Chen took Xiao Ai into her arms. Holding Xiao Ai's face, she said that Xiao Ai is very astringent. Although she is only a loli on the outside, her heart is already 10 years old. Naturally, she will feel astringent. Open me or I'll bite you. Xiao Ai raised her head and said to Chen. If you want to bite me, then try it and see if you can bite me. Chen poked Xiao Ai's face with a smile, making Xiao Ai angry. But he has no temper. Xiao Ai, what is your relationship with him? Yuchizi was very curious. She had been curious a long time ago. Well, I'm actually Xiao Ai's brother-in-law. Chen Dan said with a smile. Ming Mei next to him. Bao Ran's face was Yuhi, and he glanced at Chen shyly, and then flew away quickly. Really? Zhu__ glared at Chen. This flower heart is big Luo Xiao Shang. Obviously there is already Belmode. I still want to pursue Xiaolan. It seems that I have something to do with the female police officer Sato Mi Kazuko, or Xiao Ai's sister. I want to have Shizi. He hacked Chen to death with a hatchet. No, he's a pervert lolicon. I was brought here by force. Xiao Ai said with a cold face. Pervert lolicon. Yukiko glanced up and down at Chen, thinking it was very possible. You guy, shouldn't it be a real lolicon? Yeah, what's wrong? Admitted. Yukiko didn't expect Chen to admit it. Actually, I'm not just lolicon. I'm still married, so you have to be careful. Chen Kieguang stared at Yukiko naked. Under Chen's gaze, Yukiko felt as if she had no clothes on, and was very uncomfortable. Take back your look, otherwise I'll make you look good. Yukiko gestured with her little fist. Come on, just your weak little fist. I guess it tickles me. I think you are too weak to see. HMPH, don't underestimate me. I have also practiced boxing, and ordinary people are not my opponents at all. Really, that's a shame. I'm not an ordinary person, Chen said with a faint smile. It seems that at night, I have to guard against you. Yuchizi looked at Chen vigilantly. Then you have to guard against it. The key is that you can't guard against it. Xiao Ai said I advise you to leave quickly. Otherwise, be careful that there will be no bones left. Xiao Ai kindly advised Yuchizi. Che, I don't believe he has the courage, let him come if he has the ability. Yuchizi gave Chen a provocative look. Yuchizi, it would be too much to say that I don't have the guts. It seems that I won't teach you a lesson. You don't know the importance. I hope you don't close the door tonight. Chen looked at Yuchizi deeply. If you don't close the door, you won't close the door. If you don't come, you will be a puppy. Yuchizi looked at Chen Gong without showing weakness. By the way, if you really did something to me, be careful, I will sue you, then apply for Yingli as a lawyer and let you stay in prison for the rest of your life. Yuchizi said proudly, it's okay, I'll be fine in my whole life. I'm secretly having fun in prison. Chen shrugged. Hey, I'm just kidding. You don't really want to do anything to me, do you? Yuchizi saw that Chen seemed to be serious. She was a little scared and a little cowardly. Hee hee, guess what? Chen smiled at Yuchizi. Don't worry, Yuchizi, I guess he has a lust for sex. Also no color. Bermode said to Yushi Luzi, and what Belmode said. She let Yuchizi breathe a sigh of relief, and she didn't think Chen would really do anything to him. See your mod, do you not know if I have any courage? Is it? Chen glanced at Belmode with a deep meaning.